before. Oops. Let me get this up, everyone. Let me get this up. And let me get the timer. Oh, do we have a timer? Okay, we've got a 40-minute timer, so I have to start that at 40 minutes. Okay, I need to get this up, everyone, from Pirelli. I need to get this up from Pirelli. Here we go. Right. Here we go. Welcome everyone, welcome Jess. Now, just bear with me. Should have ideally got this up at the beginning, but okay, so let's get this over here. Can everyone see this? Can everyone see this? This is what's going down today. In fact, let me just get that below my camera. Ooh. Why is that? Doesn't matter. Anyway, okay. It's not. It might. I feel like it might be more than a mandatory 3-stop. That's my hunch. I feel like it might actually be more. Because, hang on. How can I get this and not completely chop me off? There we go. Is that better? You can see it. Let me welcome everyone along, by the way. Welcome Arnie, Pranel, Jess, Mike, Vince, Puffy Lego, Funky Monkey, Kate, Sold Out, Vlatka, Prince Lev. Who else is it? Abable, Chloe, Fido, Island Grown, Richard as well.
Keep at it.
Bert Burson, Cheech, Melly, and Martin Goodison as well. So yeah, we talked about. Let me just get my thing up as well. So we talked about this the other day. We didn't really know how it was going to kind of come to fruition, and in fact it's actually been harsher than we thought. So it's a maximum limit of 18 laps total you can use on any tyre set, which I find really weird because it doesn't take into account the different tyre compounds. But also some drivers are a bit screwed here because they've only got used sets, which will have already got laps on them. So if it is a pure safety thing, I don't understand. I think they'll have to do more because they've already eaten into those 18 laps on certain tyres. If that makes sense. 10k live stream, we'll see. Do a bit better than yesterday. I think yesterday we got about 190. We'll try and double that maybe. Welcome, Kite. When's the race starting? The race is starting in 54 minutes time. I'm going to start the timer at 40 minutes because I've just got a 40-minute timer. Welcome, Nathaniel. Yeah, so Vlak says 3 stops at least. Let me get this up as well.
Get in there, Max.
So we need to work out, everyone, who is in a good position, who isn't. So Max Verstappen's got 1 new hard. Max Verstappen has no new soft tyres, basically. So there's no new softs for Verstappen. In fact, can someone explain this to me? Because Max Verstappen only has 2 new tyres, right? Welcome, Mike. Now, not in the Ferrari shirt, because I wore the Ferrari shirt yesterday, didn't I? So it's in the wash. So chat, am I getting this right? That Max Verstappen only has 2 new tyres. And he can only do 18 laps on each of them. So he only has new tyres amounting to... What is that? 36 new laps? And the softs... Yeah, the soft from yesterday, wasn't it... George Russell starting on the softs. The softs didn't really... And that's with safety cars. The softs didn't go anywhere near the 18 or 19 laps anyway. So I wouldn't want to start on soft tyres. I feel like this is going to be the weirdest Grand Prix in a long time. So, chat, is Max completely screwed here, basically? Is Max completely screwed? Because...
It's a good stint so far.
I mean, Max Verstappen, both of his mediums only have 1 more lap before they can hit the 18. And I'm looking at his softs. He might have a set of softs that's done 8 laps. But other than that, I'm not sure Max might have to do like a 7 stopper here. Yeah, it starts at 6 o'clock UK time, everyone. But chat, I really want to hear from you in terms of how you're interpreting this. I've got all the information on the screen. Make sure you read that. Make sure you see that. Welcome, Dave, man. Well, Timon, we'll have to see. So, someone like Lewis Hamilton, Carlos Sainz, and Sergio Perez can do 18 laps on the hard, 18 on the mediums, and then they can do the rest on the softs, right? But they'll struggle on the rest of the softs. Nice to hear, Puffy Lego. Welcome, Dan, as well. Abable, do you think people are too hard? Or yeah, I do think people are too hard on them advantage, because if it's particularly hard wearing, then I think it could be a massive advantage. So yeah, people like Magnussen and Hulkenberg, you know, Hulkenberg is actually starting up there, isn't he? Let me move this over to the right hand side. I'm just going to make this a bit smaller. Let me know if you can still see it. I've only got it on the little preview. That's why it's difficult for me to understand. But so if you overlay those ones and you look at someone... Oh, did Hulkenberg get to... Oh, no, I'm thinking about sprint qualifying. So who do we think's in the best... Yeah, Chloe is correct. Who do we think's in the best position here then on the tyres? This hasn't happened since about that... Was it Indianapolis 2005, 2006? I think that's the last time we had such a tyre fiasco as we're seeing today. Looks like there's some drama in the Skies piece. Mr. Lazenby just wants to cut over this interview with Jess Hawkins to say something. He looks very unnerved. Now there's pictures of the Ferrari guys. Breaking news. Carlos Sainz will not start. Carlos Sainz will not start. Carlos Sainz is out. I told you there was something up. Carlos Sainz is out due to a fuel flow issue. Maybe the FIA have found something. Big drama, everyone. Big drama. Get your Ferrari emojis out. This is absolutely huge drama. Carlos Sainz will not start the Grand Prix. Disaster for Carlos. Disaster for Carlos Sainz. Deary me. Carlos Sainz will not start. Carlos Sainz will not start. Let's pin that. Carlos Sainz will not start the Qatar GP. Deary me. What is the reasoning for that? I could see that Sky Sports, they were like, get this interview done about this Aston Martin test. How do we feel about that, everyone? Well, Carlos Sainz, I mean, he was looking pretty handy with his tyre allocation. Can you give a set to Charles Leclerc now? Can they share it? Welcome Fargification. Carlos Sainz is out, everyone. We've already had our first retirement even before the Grand Prix. Insane scenes here. Yeah, not the smooth operator, Eve says. Apparently an oil leak. You'd think. I think something's up here. I think something doesn't add up to me. Something doesn't add up. I mean, we saw Max Verstappen bin it once on the way to the grid and they still fixed it on the grid, so... Carlos Sainz not starting the Grand Prix. He was down in P12 anyway, but the Ferrari, that side of Ferrari garage is empty. Ryan says, look who's here, the fan who loves you. Who's that? Thomas thinks he's failed. I think there might be more than meets the eye here. I think there might be more than meets the eye. That's my thought. Eve's not even a Ferrari fan, but still gutted, yes. Tamim says, I think there'll be a lot of incidents in the race. I mean, if the sprint race is anything to go by, yes, there will be. Printing Albert Fabregas saying fuel leak too significant to fix. I mean, what is it, literally swimming? How bad can it be? This doesn't make any sense to me. There's still 45 minutes to go. Maybe Stroll punched the Ferrari fuel line system. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about this. Race start is going to be in 45 minutes. I'm going to put the timer up just when it hits 40. Just because I'm pretty stupid. Marcia says sabotage. Thomas, assuming he's not a drug cheat and it is a fuel leak, has this ever happened before? I mean, yes, cars have not started the Grand Prix before. I mean, that's happened. But for a team like Ferrari, you know, we had Charles Leclerc, for example, in Monaco a couple of years ago. He didn't start the race because of cracked chassis or the cracked gearbox or something.
Oh my god.
Matthew says, smells like too lean spirits. Anyway, back to the tyres for the moment then. Now we can take out Carlos Sainz though. But someone like Sergio Perez... By the way, I don't know why Perez is all the way at the end of that leaderboard there. Why is... I mean, this isn't the finishing from the sprint, so I don't know why Perez is all the way back listed there. Doesn't make any sense to me. It does say laps 20, doesn't it? Mia says this race is going to be very interesting and exciting. Look forward to it, especially Hamilton versus George. Yes, indeed. Lack of that is so strange. If someone else backs out, I'm keen to think it's somebody with new rules. Maybe. I mean, it's a very weird Grand Prix weekend, isn't it? It's a very weird weekend, this one. Japan felt unusual because of the time zone difference. That was kind of a, you know, for a lot of us getting up at a different time. But this one just feels downright unusual. Chayata Suji says maybe Sainz not racing is just a precaution. Perhaps the issue may reappear again during the race and therefore be more problematic. Maybe, we'll see, as some of the cars are now at the end of the pit lane going around either to, probably a bit early to grid form up. So they might, or you know, just the grid preparations. They might just be doing some installation laps. Right, in the picture you put out 6 days ago, where were you? Honestly, I can't even think what happened 6 days ago. It's like a million years in YouTube land. Fargy saying this is really weird. Bolivians, any chance of a Alonso podium? So stranger things have happened. It could be one. I mean, there's going to be a lot of pit stops here. You know, more pit stops than we've seen in recent years. I think in pretty much, well, any dry race. So which pit crews are going to be really on it with the strategy? Yes, you can go a maximum of 18 laps, but does that make it too predictable? What about undercuts and things like that? Welcome Anna Perozzi. Supporting Ferrari. Anna, have you heard the news though? Do we break the news to Anna? I mean, Hamilton, you know, looks pretty good on the tyre front. Fresh set of hard, fresh mediums. Look at the love hearts coming in, and fresh set of softs as well. Or could you have someone like Guan Yu Zhou and Lance Stroll? Although Lance Stroll's, they're both starting way down there. but with 2 new sets of soft tyres. I mean, Stroll's got so many tyres. Maybe it was 4D chess getting knocked out in Q1, then punching his mechanic. It was 4D chess there. I feel like the optimal I feel like the soft tyre is not going to be a race tyre. So I feel like anyone who's got 2 mediums and a hard, or the other way around, is going to be looking pretty. So I'm trying to see who Lance Stroll, Sonoda, Sargent, Albon, and Hulkenberg. No, Hulkenberg doesn't have any new mediums at all. Magnussen's got such a weird tyre set, doesn't he? Astro India says Lightning India, very good. Welcome, Jay. No, the race hasn't started yet. It's starting in 40 minutes. Just give me 1 minute and I'll put up the timer. Welcome, Albert Mark, as well. Good to see you. Mia says there might be some... Well, they're not allowed to go more than 18... by the way, do we think that one team is going to mess it up and go more than 18 laps and get a black flag? We're going to need we're going to need some people in the chat here to be wizards. When I used to do iRacing Team Endurance and stream it on iRacing, we'd have some wizards in chat, all on top of the fuel, all on top of the tyres. We're going to need that here. We're going to need people to keep on top because it's going to be a madness, this race. It's going to be a madness. Yeah, Albon, might benefit from having those tyres. I mean, but arguably this is the way it should be. Like, if the worst doing quali, you should get a slight buff on the tyre front. Welcome, Newton, James Brown. Right, let me put this timer up then. There we go. There's our timer. In fact, because we got some space here. Oh, no. Yeah. There we go, everyone. There's our timer. There's our timer. How many laps is the race? 57 laps, I believe. So 18, 18, 18. Yeah, the sprint is now in the rear-view window. That was just a formality to crown Max Verstappen as 2023 World Drivers' Champion. But this race could be up for grabs. This race could be up for grabs as Max Verstappen, I believe, dives into the pits to do another installation lap. Any thoughts on Hamilton? We'll see. I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if it's the wily drivers here who sort of rise to the top, thinking Hamilton, thinking Alonso. Carlos Sainz, is a relatively experienced driver on this grid. They don't always do T races. In fact, the sprint races are quite controversial because a lot of people really don't like them. A lot of people do not like the sprint races. So I feel like Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, and both Alpines are a bit screwed because how are they going to do their third stint? How are they going to... It says the life of already used tyres has been taken into consideration. Does that mean that already accounts for it? You know what I mean? And why can't you go longer on the hards and the mediums or the softs? Doesn't that make a little bit of a mockery of it? So, yeah, we're getting closer now. Pretty much 38 minutes to go. And maybe Liam Lawson might be looking pretty good as well. Got 2 sets of the softs. Abible says Stone Cold Lance Stroll. We'll have to see. I mean, this is a sort of race where you just need to be on your guard. And I think a lot could and will happen in this race. So it's about being in the right frame of mind. You've got to be in it to win it. No doubt. I mean, there's going to be so many pit stops. If every car makes it through and everyone has to do 3 pit stops, would it be 3 or 2 pit stops? 3 pit stops or 2 pit stops? If it's 3 pit stops per car, that's going to be 60 pit stops in this race, which is a lot of pit stops, a lot of things to go wrong. Yeah, lap time deletions as well. I mean, they have also made an... I think they made another change to track limits. They basically wanted to get more information from the sprint race, but they couldn't because there were so many safety cars. Pirelli were like, we can't really... We haven't got anything useful out of that. 3 pit stops, wow. They're doing so many pit stops because Pirelli are worried about the tyres having failures. Although I would say here, this is a track where the barriers are so wide. But remember Roman Grosjean at Bahrain? Barriers can seem wide, but... So, chat, can someone let me know, is it... Am I correct in thinking that Max Verstappen is a little bit screwed here? Because he can get 18 on his new hards, he can get 18 off his new mediums, but then what does he do? What does Max Verstappen do after that? Oscar Piastri, the sprint winner, yesterday, just getting ready. He's just driven the car in. Now takes off his balaclava and his helmet. And he'll just get some last minute advice before they go down for the anthems and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, safety cars in the mix as well. Like, what happens if there's a safety car? Does that count? Will they, you know, wouldn't that really extend the life of it? I feel like there's a lot going on here. Fernando Alonso looks ready. Fernando Alonso looks like this could be a big opportunity. George Russell is sweating. It's like a hot evening in Qatar. His car is good on tyres. He's going to cruise, not push. We will see. Obviously starting from pole here. Speedgo says Alonso was born ready. Yes, indeed. The race... When does the race start? The race starts in about 35 minutes' time, you can see. Vince says, are the curbs so harsh that the tyres, they all need to do is feasible pit stops? Yes, indeed. These jagged curbs you have. I think it's about the frequency. Because the Formula 1 cars go over them so fast. It's quite a high frequency, and that can do things with the... sidewall of the tyres. Birungi Mayumbi seconds the GP with the reverse grid. Well, I think the sprint racers need to get to the point where they are reverse grid. I think everyone would love to see that. But no, keeping this graphic up here at the moment because it's very unusual. Not a great look for Pirelli, maybe. But perhaps there's been some drivers who have... Maybe Lewis Hamilton... I mean, why does Lewis Hamilton have an extra set of soft tyres? You know? And how does Nico Hulkenberg not have any medium tyres? Because isn't it... Don't you get a new fresh set for the race? But he's got a new hard set, hasn't he? Lots of very complicated rules about... You can use scrubbed, but can you see that his scrubs are quite scrubbed, and if you can only do 18 laps, if he's already done 15 laps on them, he's only got 3 more to go, hasn't he? Verstappen in the GOAT conversation yesterday. Funky's put a picture in Discord, all tyres and rounds left. Funky, are we correct in thinking that if you put a scrub set on, you've already used up some of your laps? Is that correct? But saying Lewis is a wise old dog, you could do what? So I think it's going to be one that is going to be... Yeah, the more experience you have, it's going to come in very handy today. Tufik says, could we see a start on softs for Hamilton and Perez?
Good job.
Or do you want to finish on the softs? But the softs really fell off yesterday, didn't they? In the sprint race. Well, if that's correct, as Funky's saying, then I'll keep saying it, but I haven't had any responses. I don't understand how Max Verstappen can even be competitive in this race, because he cannot do a 3-stopper then. He has to do like a 5 or 6 or something. Am I correct in saying that? Is that the deal? About half an hour to go, everyone here. This is why we do the pre-race, just to keep on top of things. Is there a Discord? Yes, 4,000 people in the Discord. 4,000 people in there. Maybe start on, maybe get a start on softs and get the undercut. Maybe. Yeah, so Funky, so Max can't put on that first set, can he? Because it's already done 18 laps. I think it sounds like if they're going to make such a drastic change, it's unfair already for lots of people, but they should give another set of medium tyres, unless they physically don't have them. No, they've said they're not going to allocate new tyres, but I just wonder if they maybe just actually don't have new tyres. They don't bring spares. That's what I'm trying to work out. Yeah, but what softs, MD? Max doesn't have a new pair of softs. Doesn't have a new pair of softs. What softs is he going to put on? I think this race will come down to experience and a good relationship between the engineer and the driver. That's what I think it will come down to. I think it will actually be quite hard to understand all the different strategies. So I don't think teams who don't have massive kind of like analysts back at the factory will be so disadvantaged here, because it's just going to be a madness. Thomas says Lewis is 12-1 to win it. I mean, surely the drivers with the good tyres are going to be, yeah, in a really good position.
Get in there, Max.
Get in there, Lewis. Marcia, regarding used sets, teams are allowed to add 2 more lap counts to count for slower in-out laps. Okay, but that still doesn't help Max, does it? That still doesn't help Max. I feel like I'm a broken record here, but if I'm reading those numbers correctly, Max can only do about 5 laps on a soft, and then you have to come in and change it and do another 5 laps and change it. So he's just, I must be missing it, because otherwise that's just like really big news. I'm not sure Perez is starting from the back. I don't know why it shows it there, to be honest. Unless there was a consequence of the crash yesterday. They had to replace a chassis, or whatever, in part firmware conditions. Yeah, if there's safety cars, then you can come in and you'd have to time it absolutely perfectly. So I'll say it one more time. I do not understand how Max can do a 3-stopper in this race. So Max is going to be forced to do extra pit stops, i.e. be uncompetitive. But let me know either which way. Come on, chat. Let's wake up. Let's wake up, chat. Let's engage in this. Aston is a one-man team. Yes, at the moment, clearly. I could change if they put Felipe in. Put Mr. Drogovic in. Lackey saying Oscar will be the GOAT. Well, he'll hope he will be. How's Piastri looking on tyres? Piastri is in a similar boat to Max Verstappen. Chat, look. I'm going to even put this over me, okay? Okay. Look at Max Verstappen, okay? Look at the top here. A mandatory limit of 18 laps of total tyre life will be imposed. You cannot go more than 18 laps on any tyre, okay? Right? So, Max Verstappen, look at the line for Max Verstappen. He's got a set of hard tyres. He'll go for 18 laps on the hard tyres, okay? And then that's it, he has to come in. He'll go on the medium tyres. He can go for 18 laps and he'll come in, right? Now, he's used up all of his new tyres, needs to go on to old tyres, but both of his medium tyres have already done 17 laps. Okay? So, he can, if he puts it on, he's got to box their next lap. Either of those tyres. And with the softs, he's got his lowest set have done 12. So he can do 6 laps and needs to come in. Okay, so if it's a 57 lap race, then you've got 18 laps on the hards. You've got 36 laps by the time you've done the hards and the mediums. So you've got about another 18 laps to go. Oh, is it laps left? Ah, okay. There we go, look. Left laps available per use set. Okay, Funky's helped us out here. Okay, that changes things then. Ah! That changes things. So in that case... It's full screening actually, so because I can't see it. So in that case, what does this mean? Has anyone got a really low? Well, then Well, Lewis Hamilton then will probably need to use his new softs because his mediums only have 13 left, which would put him short, right? Who else has got a low number? In fact, Lewis Hamilton is not arguably not looking that great then because he's got a 13. His freshest set of medium, his freshest third set, only have 13 laps, which won't get him to the end. So maybe that's why Lewis Hamilton is had pretty long odds, right? Someone said Lewis to win and get fast lap is 200 to 1 because maybe he's been screwed. Now I realise I've been reading this the wrong way around. Great. I can see that actually Max Verstappen's in a pretty good position because he's got a set of a used soft set, for example, can get 18 more. So if it's a 3-stopper, they're going to be using 4 sets of tyres. But put money on Hamilton. Didn't put the house in it, did you? Okay, wow, this is even more complicated than I thought, frankly. Even more complicated. So Max should be okay, yes, because Max can go hards, mediums, mediums, mediums. So is Hamilton in big trouble? Is Hamilton in big trouble then? Can Hamilton go hards, mediums, mediums, mediums? Has anyone got a calculator? What is 18 plus 18 plus, is it 10 and 13? 23. Does that get him there? Oh, only £3, okay. MD saying Lewis will be the big loser. Charity Science car wasn't fixable. I'm not sure about that. Doesn't add up to me. 59, so he does get there. Adrian Newey is wandering the grid. He's got his notepad out. He's an old school person. Funky saying Russell's 18, 13, 10 on medium, so the 18 and 13 will get him there, right? African Ghost says some of the rules the FIA comes up with are pure medieval. Wow, harsh. Welcome Mark, welcome Grazia S. Flacker, I not understand how it's possible to change the rules mid-season. What about changing the rules on the last lap of the last race of the season? Okay, I feel like we need to get this race underway so we can actually just see how this is all going to shake down. There's a lot of clever people in Formula 1. I think it's going to be interesting is how many people are going to use soft tyres. Because do you do a double stint on the soft because you're forced to do so many pit stops? Why not use the softs? I don't know. Yeah, no worries, Sam. If you look at the pin message, we're one step ahead of you there, mate. Welcome to Jasu, Susie K. Thomas says the Sky Sports kids would do a better job. Wow. It's going to be a confusing one.
So what happened there?
And there's going to be some maths needing to be done, and it might all change if they're safety cars. Because can you afford to undercut? What happens if you want to undercut? Because then if you're doing less than 18 laps, you know, is everyone going to go to 18? Are some people going to go short? Some people going to do 4 stoppers, knowing that other people are at least going to do 3. Thomas saying softs didn't look great yesterday. Yes, I agree. They really fell off, and that was only a sprint race. Snowline said, this is a stupid venue if you ask me. Idiotic rule changes, totally effed. Strong words. Ababal, I think this might be a very hectic race. Welcome Sheikh Mansour, Sheikh Mohammed. Mr. Amazing Gary saying rules can be changed mid-season for safety reason. Well, yeah, they did do the extra practice session yesterday, didn't they? Gurney saying softs might only come into play if we get a safety car in the last 10 laps. Carlos Dias not starting. I think his grid slot will just be empty, by the way. I don't think it will shuffle everyone up. But imagine getting all this way. Carlos Sainz has done free practice 1, free practice 2, right? He's done sprint shootout. So he's done practice before the sprint shoot. He's done qualifying. Carlos Sainz has done free practice 1, free practice 2. It's 2. He's done qualifying for the race. He's done the free practice before the sprint shootout. And he's done the sprint. So he's done 5 sessions. And then hour before the race, he's like, nah, I can't do it. Maybe Sainz kicked off about the rule changes. Maybe Sainz like, I don't think this is fair. It could all be a cover. It could be, honestly. Stranger things have happened. Snowland's going to say, what you really think? Let us know what you really think. Track limits, yeah, track limits will still be an issue here because they are still being brought in as Charles Leclerc goes to the front for the anthems. 20 minutes to go. Mark Johnson says, race snacks anyone? I'm going with broccoli and Stilton soup with hot buttered. Wow. Very nice. Let me bring in these drivers here. Let me bring in these drivers here.
I'm all boxes lap, Max. Boxes lap.
Just to keep that going. Yeah, fuel line, that's what they said. But it all seems to, it doesn't add up massively for me.
Yeah, copy. Box.
Welcome, Craig. Esteban Ocon is looking quite relaxed. Some man who's done well in this part of the world before. CJ supporting Checo. Yeah, I mean, potentially a good race for Checo. We'll see. He does end up doing different strats a lot of the time. Princess Carlos took part in the pre-race show normally, and he seems to not have a worry in the world. Okay, good intel there that Carlos was in the pre-race, looking very relaxed. Welcome, V-Neck. And Martin as well. Manvik just joined. Can I ask why Carlos won't start? Fuel line issue is the word. Fuel line issue. Yes, lots of familiar faces here. Chat, we need to set a like target. We need to set a like target. What should we do on the old like front? Do we go 500? Do we go 1,000? I mean, yesterday we got 190. So, for the sprint race. Do we double that? Do we triple it? Quadruple it? Let me know what you think. Mia says Chekovich Wash can't defend him no more. Well, I do think Sergio Perez did not help things where he was yesterday on track when the big crash happened. You could argue, say, the crash wouldn't have happened if he'd not been there. That's a very short lady at Aston Martin. Welcome Sharon Cloeti from South Africa. 945 2000. I'm not going to do the edible straws. I'm not actually drinking today because oh, it's Sonny Bill Williams. SBW. He's got about 7,000 lanyards. 2-time Rugby World Cup winner with New Zealand. That's Rugby Union. I saw him win. Actually, he didn't win, didn't he? I saw him beat England in semi-finals Rugby League. I say we go with that. I say we go 1,000. I say we go 1,000. Light target 1,000. There we go. Pin that. Didn't know he was someone who liked racing. Vince says, this man should be on Sky F1. Great commentary. Let's hold off until the race starts and then you can reevaluate that. It hasn't really been much commentary yet. Max Verstappen on the outside of the grid. P1 as we saw yesterday. With Lando Norris was the driver that really had a terrible start, got swamped, and he doesn't look that relaxed actually. I think it probably burns him inside that Oscar Piastri won the sprint race. Lando's starting 10th here because of his pretty terrible quali when it came to discipline and track limits. So, you know, are we going to have a great race from Lando, or is he going to just fall apart here mentally? It's going to be interesting to see. Did Ocon get a penalty? No, they reviewed it and they said it was a race incident. So that incident was reviewed and it was a racing incident. Chris says, do you think Kyalami South Africa will ever happen? I'm not sure. They tried to, I would love I'd love it to happen. And if it's going to happen, I think it'll be Formula 1 that needs to do it. Welcome Hooked on Classics. Max needs anger management. What's Max done? Manvit, we need a poll such as will Sargent have a incident. I mean, we may as well have polls and stuff that are a bit more debatable than that, because it's almost certain that Logan Sargent is going to crash in this race. Where's the bag, Chris? I actually woke up this morning not feeling too well. Hence, I'm on the Aqua. I'm on the Aqua right now. Welcome Angelo as well. Sharon from South Africa says, nope, ain't gonna happen to Kyalami. Let us know, Sharon. You probably got the inside info, I would imagine. Is that Mo Farah in the background? I think I see a wild Mo Farah. Yes, it is. A man fast on 2 legs. Sir Mo Farah. Han says Vin Diesel. Is Vin Diesel down there? Welcome Ali as well. Shafiq, Brad Binder mentioned that the runoff areas are too short for MotoGP, so I doubt F1 broken to come and say, is that a Kyalami? By the way, it is time for the anthem now. So it's anthem o'clock. Too much crime, wow. Welcome Ali again to 31 months for Ali. 31 months. That is pretty insane. Thank you so much, Ali, for that. That is absolutely incredible support. A member of the channel for 31 months. There he is at the bar. Looking forward to the F1 this Sunday. Yeah, 31. I love it when the big dog members come in and just slap down like the massive, like, bosh, 31 months. It's a big move. The anthem looks like quite a boring rendition of it. Performed by the Qatar Philharmonic Orchestra. Very different to the one we had in the Netherlands. Or sometimes they just get some random kids. But this one's all like black tie nonsense. Is it a banger, the Qatar anthem? I'm gonna go by the faces. I'm gonna say not a banger. I'm gonna say not a banger. Kate, a member for 31 months as well. Thank you so much, Kate. Look at that, slapping it down. 31-month membership. Gets you a lot of street cred in these parts. Thank you so much. 2 big members there. Hooked on, I'll be amazed if Sargent finishes the race. Yes, we will see. Have a Beecham's. Lewis Hamilton's got a fan in his face. So trying to keep it cool, old school. Some drivers have gone for the ice pack. The ice vest. Maybe I should do an ice vest. Galax saying Sargent will win. You need to get yourself checked out, I'm afraid. That's not a sane thing to predict. I'll eat my hat if Logan Sargent wins this race. Yeah, you quote me on that. Is that a lockup? I think there might be a bassoon in this rendition. Let's see, they finished the anthem. What's the reception like? People saying like, again, one more. Nope. Don't think so. Okay, 10 minutes to go then. Oh, there's another thing going on. There's another anthem or something. They've doubled up. They've gone somewhere else. There's a kind of creepy looking guy who's conducting. So I don't know what. Are there 2 anthems for Qatar? Mohammed bin Suleiman is on the prowl again, directing traffic. Yeah, this conductor is like the creepiest. So they've got another rendition up in the Paddock Club. I don't know what this is. Is this another anthem? Gallant's just shouted America in the chat. Yeah, but it's a calm before the storm here, because this is going to be a really crazy race. I think it's going to be a great place to follow it, because it's going to be pretty mad when we're trying to think, right, who's due a pit stop, who needs to pit. You know, artificially short stints. You're limited by how much you can undercut. Rod's hoping for a Piastri clean start. We'll see. I mean, Lando didn't get a good start yesterday, but Oscar did. Charles Leclerc getting a massage or something. Ali, any on them got a stream. Ali, hang out here. I got you all covered here. I got you covered. How many pit stops is there? Well, minimum of 3 pit stops, but it might even be more. It might even be more. Someone like Lewis Hamilton it's really on the edge of their tires. So if Lewis Hamilton wants to sort of maximize his time, minimize his stops, he won't be able to do an undercut. So it might be pretty easy to predict what Lewis Hamilton is going to do and when's he going to pit. Welcome, Anchi. When am I driving ACC? I'm meant to be driving ACC tonight, but I don't feel great. So I'm meant to be doing that with Logitech. So we'll see. Maybe we'll postpone that. Welcome, Pro Street Beat. It's getting close now. It's getting close. The lights are on in Qatar. Max Verstappen taken off the ice vest. I'm just going to keep this infographic on just a little bit longer so you can see it. We can always bring it back. We can always bring it back to work out where we are. It's a bit like a bingo card, isn't it? Hookton's hoping Alonso gets good points. I know a lot of people... Oh, by the way, welcome to High Jest and Floppy IT. Good to have you. Potentially could make some real headway into 62k subs today. We'll see. Chloe's making popcorn. Right, well, Chloe, we need to know, are you going sweet, salty, you just putting butter in it? What's the add-on for the popcorn? Nothing like homemade popcorn, though. You're using butter in the pan, you're using olive oil. We need to know these details. 8 minutes to go, everyone. 8 minutes to go till the start of the race. Ooh. If you see anyone on the soft tyres, they're probably going to be doing more than a 3-stopper, I would imagine. Manvik's in the awkward time zone, sorry to hear it. Oh, Chloe's gone salty. Salty 100%. Oh, what's better, chat? Salty or sweet popcorn? Salty or sweet popcorn? Or the mix? Right, Gary's saying Hamilton can run hard, medium, soft, use medium. That's a 3-stopper. Okay, got it. Hooked on just had cake. Galax says, any other Logan Sargent fans? Galax, do you run the Logan Sargent fan club? And how populated is it these days? Right, Gurney's saying sweet, Katie's saying salty, Noah's gone for the mix, Angie salty, Natasha salty, Manvik says India. Manvik, you didn't listen to the question, my friend. That's not one of the answers. Marsha going for the mix, Vlaka saying salty, Chris has got lamb shanks in the K. Alright, Hooked on said toffee. Toffee could be OP, you know. Manvik saying peanut butter, what? Martin sweet. Chite says salty. Jess going salty as well. Pro Street's gone for some like artisan. Some hip popcorn. Galax butter. Okay. Okay. 5 minutes to go, everyone, till the race start. 5 minutes to go. And remember, there were 3 safety cars, weren't there, in the sprint race yesterday? So how many are we going to get in a race that's almost triple the distance? Are we going to go 10? I personally like sweet popcorn, I've got to be honest. Can be a bit moorish though. Have you noticed if you go to cinema, which I did go to a few weeks ago, the upgrade options on popcorn are like ridiculous. Like the smallest popcorn is like £4, which is a lot. But it's like, oh, you want to get a medium, it's $4.20. And if you want to get a large, it's $4.50. It's such an interesting pricing model. It's like, okay, well I may as well go large then. And then you get like 5 kgs of popcorn that you could literally take back and you won't finish in a month. Welcome, Musa. Chris says we are all clicking our lips. How do you click your lips? Mr. Amazing Gary saying Russell is going to be the one struggling on tyres. Why is that, Mr. Amazing Gary? Welcome, Xavier Society and James as well. Good to have you on board. 4 minutes to go, everyone. 4 minutes. What did I watch? I watched Mission Impossible Rogue. Was it? Whatever the latest Mission Impossible was. I wanted to see Oppenheimer, but I just didn't. I just couldn't be bothered. To be honest. It's like, I don't have time for this. Welcome, Ernie Bull. Fives, what's your 1, 2, 3? Oh, my 1, 2, 3. The McLaren's a real spanner in the works here. You know, although the Hamilton finished strong yesterday. I really don't know. Verstappen, Hamilton, Alonso, Verstappen, Hamilton, Piastri. Can Russell? I don't know. Why am I not putting Russell in there? Benici says Russell likes to praise himself. Yes. A bit of self-love there from George Russell. Right, everyone, they're doing the title credits now, so we're getting very, very, very close. Very close. Welcome, Gary Lee. Good to see you. Like deployed. From Gary Laster. Right, I'm just going to restart this, actually. Let me just restart this in the background and get us going, everyone. So bear with me. Bear with me. Let me get the light on as well. Here we go. Ugh. We're all good to go now. Jess says you kind of sound like George. George who? Okay. Bear with me, everyone. Are we all good with the we all good with this, Yen? So I can pop this back in as and when we need it. All right. So I'll take it out for the moment, but we can put it back in as and when we need it. No worries, Fires. No worries. Okay. Remember, keep an eye on track limits as well. I'll keep you updated. We can expect to see some black and white flags. AKA a warning before it goes to a full black flag. So we're about 2 minutes away, everyone. We're about 2 minutes away. Don't worry about that stuff going on there. Welcome, Cupra. Welcome, Lord MBR in the house. Hi, everyone. Happy Sunday. Full weekend of work. Now time to relax today with the Kireth stream. Great to have Lord MBR, absolute legend of the stream. If you know, you know. And if you know, put your MBR emojis in the chat. There we go. Black is already there. Black is already there. Okay, everyone. We are almost ready to go. Starting grid. Let me confirm it for you. Perez is starting from the pit lane. That's why at the back. Must be all that damage, replacing stuff. And then Max in 18th, Liam Lawson in 17th. Ahead of them, we've got Lance Stroll in P16th. After punching his engineer, Logan Sargent in 15th. Then Nico Hulkenberg, he qualified well for the sprint shootout, but only 14th here, and Alex Albon in 13th. Then it's Yuki Tsunoda in P11. There's no P12 because Carlos Sainz is not starting the race. Then we've got Lando Norris in P10 after he had all his lap times deleted. And Valtteri Bottas, a very impressive P9. It's an Alpine lockout with P8 and P7 for Esteban, Ocon and Pierre Gasly respectively. Oscar Piastri, who won the sprint race, he starts on P6 with Charles Leclerc in P5. And then we've got the Wily Foxes, the old McLaren teammates, Fernando Alonso in P4, Lewis Hamilton in P3. And the front row of the grid is the Mercedes of George Russell in second. But Max Verstappen, half a second clear in qualifying, starts this race P1. But it's a very unusual race because there are so many tyre changes that are going to be mandated here because Pirelli are very worried about the stability of the tyres over the curbs. Already 1,000 people watching. If you don't mind me doing me the favour right now, so right now, make sure you hit that like button and hit the share button right now. Click share and share it on whatever platform you're on, YouTube, Facebook, Insta, Twitter. Just choose your favourite platform. Tag me in it as well if you can. Share the stream. And let's get this absolutely buzzing for what is going to be a very interesting 2023 Qatar Grand Prix as the tyre warmers are about to go off the cars. The cars get lowered. George Russell in second. The mechanics start moving away. It's now just one on each tyre. Max Verstappen looks a little bit kind of concerned maybe. Right, there we go. Mechanics move away. And all that's left on the grid is the cars. And we're about to go with the formation lap, everyone. Are we ready to race? Yes, we are, Snowline. MBR, root for Alonso because he's old, but can appreciate Max dominance. Who is everyone cheering for? Yep, you can do that as well, Dan. Yeah, let us know in the chat who you're cheering for. As the Rolex goes over and it's green light, which means that we're starting the formation lap. So the formation lap is underway. Bear in mind, the most important thing we need to keep track of this race is that each driver can only do a maximum of 18 laps on any tyre set. And so this race is going to be really affected by who has new tyres and who doesn't. Welcome Laura Lynch as well. We've got Max in there, just supporting Lando, Kate Hamilton, William Lando, Thighs Lando, Anchi Max, Snowline Max, Bebop Liam Lawson, Akash Max, Anya Max, Jess again for Lando, Manvit for Piastri, Jack for George Russell, Perez I think starting from the back. Oh, there's a very slow Alfa Romeo off the back of the grid, albeit Guan Yu Zhou should be on the back anyway. Yeah, Sergio Perez starting from the pits, probably because of the damage he got on the car and had to replace it. There we go. Chat, while we're doing that, please let us know right now. We're on the formation lap. Let us know where in the world you're watching from. Let's do a nations check. Welcome to Holly Barrett supporting Lando. Let's do a nations check. Let us know which nation you're from. and we'll see which nation has the most F1 fans today. I'm interested. Is it going to be UK? What about Netherlands? What about Australia? What about India? There we go. India coming in from Manvik already. Alan Moss from the UK. Mia from UK. Musa from Canada. Jacob from Denmark. Jess from the UK. Bob from England. Chelsea from Netherlands. Sai from India. Jay from Boston, America. Vlatka, Croatia. Kate from UK. Evie, UK. Wow, it's moving fast. Lucky from Finland. Bert from England. Chloe from Canada. It's moving quick today. It's moving quick today. Good job, everyone. Look at this. Wow, look at the way it's moving. Now I've just got to go on field. There's quite a few from the Netherlands. 2 Namibias coming in together. Who could predict that? 2 Namibias. From African Ghost and Chris as well. Now, chat, I think... Oh, USA, well, it's difficult. A couple of South Africans coming in together as well. So I'm now going to go over and let you know what I'm seeing live. You're going to get the standings as well. But I'm going to let you know what I see as live, everyone. On my screen, as Sergio Perez is still in the pits. They're keeping him there with the tyre warmers on to the last possible moments. Meanwhile, where is Carlos Sainz going to be? Is he going to be on the pit wall? As I can see the cars filtering down to the grid. It's going to be a busy day for the mechanics today. A very busy day for the mechanics. Funky saying Lewis, Liam, Bottas and Magnussen on the soft tyres. Right, everyone, I'm going to call it as I see it. I'm going to call it as I see it. You know how we do. Fernando Alonso is lined up on the grid. On the inside. For turn 1. Although we have seen there is a lot of grip available on the outside. Max Verstappen, I think, with a different helmet. A golden helmet today. Signifying he's a 3-time world... driver champion. Welcome Attila Nagy to Legend as well. Can we get some claps out for Attila, please? For joining the membership. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Attila. But now I see it. 2 red lights, 3 red lights, 4 red lights, 5 red lights, and we are now racing at Qatar. It's a good start for both of the front runners. Lewis Hamilton might try and out-drag George Russell, though. Now, George Russell goes defensive, puts Lewis Hamilton to the outside. Fernando alone. Contact between the Mercedes. Contact between the Mercedes. It's a disaster for Mercedes, everyone. It's a disaster for Mercedes. Unacceptable. Unacceptable from Mercedes. They've both taken each other out. Absolute madness here. Oh my goodness me. What has happened here with Mercedes? This is not good. Are we going to get a safety car? There was a car off with only 1 tyre. It's all carnage behind as well. As Lance Stroll is properly in the midfield. George Russell saying, I've got damage. No, absolutely no, George. Yes, you have. Madness. Mercedes, what are you guys doing? I think that's the end of the race for Lewis Hamilton. He was on the outside, and I think if I saw correctly, a wheel came off. Gary saying safety car deployed. Yeah, safety car is out, everyone. Safety car is out. You can see George Russell at the back. He'll need to pit. So George Russell's now on a 4-stop race. I don't think it'll be a red flag. By the way, so Lewis Hamilton is come to a stop. Lewis Hamilton has come... Yeah, he's lost his right rear tyre, everyone. No right rear tyre for Lewis Hamilton. I'm going to get a replay here and let you know exactly what happened. So, if you bear in mind, you had George Russell on the inside. You had Lewis Hamilton behind Max Verstappen. Lewis Hamilton got a bit of a better start than George Russell. George Russell squeezed into the outside. It all looked pretty good. But for whatever reason, coming into turn 1, they made contact. You had Fernando Alonso sniffing around on the inside as well. I don't know if that played a part. Deary me. So, yeah, Lewis Hamilton's car completely beached. And Hamilton's just standing there. He looks like it's a karting thing. He's going to wait for George Russell to come round and sort of say to him, what are you doing? But George Russell's gone into the pits. So what kind of damage does George Russell have? Blacker says tyres are overrated when you're Hamilton. So there's a new set... Well, there's a set of... I believe it's hard tyres going on for... No, it's mediums. And they look possibly scrubbed. So maybe a scrubbed set of mediums for George Russell. He goes off slowly. They didn't really fix... They didn't take the... I'm not sure they fixed the front wing, actually. Well, I'm going to let you know what happened here. So remember, George Russell's on the inside. Lewis Hamilton's on the outside. Hamilton gets a slightly better start. And essentially pulls up. He's never really alongside. But then he goes for a move around the outside. Oh, and I think, who is that on? So Lewis Hamilton on the outside just outbrakes George Russell. But maybe Hamilton didn't give himself enough clearance. We saw Hamilton and Piastri come together at Monza, remember? Or was this George Russell not having the wherewithal? Oh, it's all on Hamilton. It's all on Hamilton there. I'm sorry, but George Russell can't really go to the inside anymore. It's all on Hamilton, that one for me. Hamilton on soft tyres, so he would have had better grip. He goes to the outside, and he just misjudged it, really. He just misjudged it. Chat, let me know what you think, but for me... Right, Hamilton's been on the radio saying, yeah, I got taken out by my own teammate, but I have to say, Lewis, if you go around the outside at turn 1, you know, there's going to be a lot happening on your inside that you've got to be aware of. Now, I'm not sure that we have to look at the onboard of George Russell. We're not sure that you're going to see George Russell make any sort of correction like that. I think George Russell was keeping it fairly steady and predictable, as you might expect for someone in the middle. And I think Hamilton just misjudged it. I've got to be honest, I think Hamilton misjudged it. That's my initial reading of it. Obviously, I'm not sponsored by anyone here. I'm not biased in any way. My reading is Hamilton should have left a little bit more space. It's almost like Hamilton wanted Russell to back out. Very reminiscent of the accident that we saw yesterday in the sprint race as well. And that tyre bouncing off, and there was a big crowd there, so lucky the tyre didn't injure anyone. Welcome, Sasha. Right, let me know in the chat, by the way, maybe even from my description, who you think's at fault, George Russell or Lewis Hamilton? Who was at fault here? Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri has played a blinder here because everyone else was blindsided by the incident, and Oscar Piastri just happened to, he was a bit further back, he could read it, and he managed to overtake, I think, 3 cars. But I wonder if this is going to be a bit of a narrative now with Lewis Hamilton, that he's just sort of, he's losing his instincts when it comes to racing in close quarters. Nigel agrees with me. Paul drove into Russell. Manvic Hamilton's fault. George should slap him. We obviously don't condone any violence on this channel. Mac Hamilton played his joker card. Funky looks like him just for the corner. I think my perspective on this is, George Russell, so sorry guys, I wasn't even looking behind, I was just focused ahead and he came from nowhere. My perspective is, if that had been on lap 15, I might be more inclined to put a bit more of the blame on George Russell. But I feel like on lap 1, if you're the driver making a move, lap 1, turn 1, you have to be super extra considerate. You have to be super extra considerate, because having done some racing myself in the real world a couple of days ago in the Mazdas, doing a grid start, you'll see in my video, is very chaotic, and you need to sort of like not make sudden movements. So yeah, Hamilton obviously on the radio said that his teammate crashed into him. So yeah, is he losing his head? He's now trying to direct the moped man around. Right, they're going backwards because it's closed. Hamilton's going on a moped ride, and that will be investigated after the race. AJ saying Hamilton is too old, lost his fire. Carthy, why is Hamilton not on the grid? Hamilton's crashed out. Hamilton's crashed out. A lot of drivers taking an opportunity to box, by the way. So I think maybe drivers getting onto the softs, possibly. No, Valtteri Bottas comes in and gets off the softs. So he does literally the opposite. So maybe drive... Oh, there's a fire, it seems, in Lance Stroll coming in. Or maybe it's just dust rising up. Oh, racing on the exit between Kevin Magnussen and Lance Stroll there. Kevin Magnussen just coming out ahead. This is all happening in the pits, by the way. See on your standings there, a lot of drivers going into the pits. Now, I wonder if the safety car is ending. Safety car is ending, by the way. Safety car is ending. So, what can Oscar Piastri do here? Can he stick with Max Verstappen? We saw Oscar Piastri get left behind when George Russell did a restart yesterday, didn't we? And I wonder if George Russell's car is going to be able to make it to the end of the race as well. I really do. He's actually benefited there because he boxed straight away. He has managed to get ahead of Bottas, Magnussen, Stroll and Liam Lawson, who for some reason didn't box on the first lap. I'm not sure why. Dragon Killer saying Russell needs to be fired from Mercedes. Snowland the hamster should stick to hideous fashion. Jess saying, how is Russell today? I'm not sure. I'm going to let you know how I see it on the safety car restart, everyone. Lap 4 out of 57. We'll see if Max Verstappen is going to leave. Oh, Hulkenberg had a incorrect starting location. That might have been just ahead of his pit box. So Max, very, very, very slowly here. I'm trying to see if I can see the K's on the steering wheel. But very slowly, backing the whole pack up. Wow, super slowly is Max Verstappen weaving the tyres. Green flag. Right, now he goes. And again, Oscar Piastri caught napping a little bit. And he's got Fernando Alonso, who was one of my tips to maybe get a good result here, right behind him. So yeah, Max Verstappen was already there. And my screen haven't even gone over the past the pit entry yet, and he's already possibly about a second ahead. Yeah, look at that, 1.4 seconds ahead for Max Verstappen. Wow. Sharon saying it's you, Lewis. Admit your mistakes. Bebop, Hamilton makes mistakes as well as every other human who's ever walked the earth. Yes, indeed. A message we can all get behind, I'm sure. By the way, every driver now is on the mediums apart from Liam Lawson in last place. So everyone has got on settled into the mediums for this part of the race. Oh, Perez and I think George Russell, one of them was on the sand as they were fighting each other. Is George Russell trying to get past Sergio Perez, I believe? Yes. So keep an eye on that. George Russell might have the bit between his teeth here. Gary saying Russell's a maniac. AJ says, why is Russell apologising? As a racing driver, it's one of those things you can do. You know that the telemetry is going to show you in the right, so you can apologise, get some moral high ground, because ultimately you know that you definitely were in the right. So maybe a bit of 4D chess going on there. Maybe. Rooker saying Perez is on hard. Is Perez on hard? I thought everyone... Yes, you are correct. Sorry, my bad. Everyone but Liam Lawson and Sergio Perez on the hard tyre. My bad there. So that's why George Russell is trying to do everything to get past Perez. And in fact, you can see on the standings that he's been able to do that. And why is Sergio Perez on the hard tyre? I'm not sure, but we'll see. And Max, well, Oscar Piastri has managed to close that gap down a little bit, which could be very interesting to see that gap has come down to 1 second as Nico Hulkenberg goes around the outside of Yuki Tsunoda at turn 1. Seems to be quite a popular move. Yuki tries to come back, but Hulkenberg just cuts him off. But if that is going to be if Hulkenberg did start a little bit ahead of his grid slot, then I reckon that's a slam dunk 5-second penalty. Maxing Hamilton's a clown. Yeah, Hulkenberg under investigation, just confirmed for incorrect starting location, and it was George Russell going around the outside of Sergio Perez. Rooker saying perhaps saving the mediums for later. Yeah, well, he's on a different strat here. I'm surprised that we're not seeing a mixture of strategies here. I would expect with basically a mandatory 3-stopper to see lots of different tyre compounds on track at the same time, but that we're not seeing that. Maybe everyone right now is on their new set of mediums. I'm not sure. Yeah, Max on the medium tyres as well. Gary's watching the Gasly Hulkenberg battle. Oh, did Hulkenberg go too far? Penalty for Nico Hulkenberg. I think he just went a little bit over his mark. A 10-second penalty. Wow. Well, I don't think we'll be doing that again. When I was in my Masters, I needed to reverse out of my grid slot because I was so far ahead of my box. So Nico Hulkenberg with a 10-second penalty for probably being a couple of centimetres ahead of his box slot. So, wow, what a severe penalty for the man who's pretty much flying at the moment, I have to say. Poor Lando, I feel he's being too hard on himself. Where is Lando right now? He's up in P6, not doing too bad. Welcome to Steve and Tony. Brett, what position is Greg's in? I didn't know there was a Greg in Formula 1.
I think that I forgot.
I'm not sure he was on Carlos's slot because I thought he was starting way down. I think he might just have rolled over unless he didn't keep the slot free. Now, if he didn't keep the slot free, ultimately it's tough for Hulkenberg because it's an unusual situation, but you've got to remember to do that. Your engineer's got to say on the way around, by the way, remember to stop a box early, leave a box gap. Maybe it's a 10 seconds because he was a whole box ahead, which would make sense. Because if he's a whole box ahead, he would have effectively gained a position on the person on the other side of the grid, right? Why Hamilton on 19? Crashed out, mate. Having a look here at Fernando Alonso. What happened with Alonso? Oh, he had a huge moment. Fernando Alonso's had a huge moment and gone completely off track. Wow. Good save from Alonso. I think that's similar to where we saw Logan Sargent lose the back end. And I think we saw Liam Lawson lose the back end yesterday as well. Maybe some vicious crosswinds still going on. Apparently Ollie Beerman's with Haas right now. Well, Ollie Beerman, yeah, very fast Ferrari driver. Ferrari Academy driver in F2. Sainz had a fuel line issue. That's why Carlos Sainz has started. A lot of stuff going on already. We're only 8 laps in. Meanwhile, Alex Albon in P10 is all over Yuki Tsunoda. And bear in mind, Logan Sargent, fair play, is in P11. P11 for Logan Sargent. Lance Stroll, meanwhile, is in P16. And he's got Kevin Magnussen all over the back of him. In fact, Magnussen might try and go around the outside. Nope, can't quite do it. But Lance Stroll looks completely and utterly washed, I have to say. Yeah, Logan Sargent is doing better than not crashing. Logan Sargent is having a phenomenal race right now. Yeah, please do smash that like, everyone. There's a lot to keep up with here. And bear in mind, for any of the drivers that didn't pit under safety car, they've only got 10 more laps before they need to pit. 10 more laps. Welcome, Funky, with the 13 months. Proud to be part of this great community. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Funky organises so much racing in the Discord across Gran Turismo 7. Great to have Funky, an absolute linchpin in the community. 13-month membership as well. Don't remember to like and subscribe. Yes, indeed. Sergio Perez on the hard tyre. Is he just going to be biding his time here? Because Guan Yu Zhou has got ahead of him as well in the Alfa Romeo. And he's going to have Valtteri Bottas behind him for company as well. George Russell is stalking Logan Sargent right now. Might do a big send into turn 1. Yes, he does. Can he get it stopped? He's going to run a little bit deep on exit, but he's miles clear of Logan Sargent. Made it look easy. Meanwhile, Alex Albon is still tussling with Yuki Tsunoda. That's the battle for P9. I wasn't in my thoughts. I think Lewis Hamilton at fault. Lewis Hamilton at fault. That's my thought on turn 1, lap 1 incident. I mean, I really rate the move, trying to go around the outside, but I just think he didn't leave enough space, considering that, you know, you had Max Verstappen on the inside and Fernando Alonso sniffing around as well. There was much more space on the outside of the track to Lewis Hamilton's left than anyone else on the track had. So I feel like it was Lewis Hamilton's responsibility to sort of make sure everyone got around safely, even if that meant Lewis Hamilton had a slightly worse chance of keeping the position. That's my view on that, but you let me know if you felt any different. That's how we roll on this stream, everyone. That's how we roll. So lap 9 right now. Are we going to see people undercutting? Are we going to see people commit to, say, doing a 4-stop? Because I reckon there are going to be people doing a 4-stop right at the back, if I'm reading it correctly. You can say his car was fuel of it. Decent joke there. Not too bad. Alex Albon, meanwhile, has got ahead of Yuki Tsunoda because Yuki Tsunoda is pitted. Right, there we go. Okay. Yuki Tsunoda's in the pits. But Sergio Perez having a terrible time, by the way. He's behind Guan Yu Zhou and Logan Sargent. And what are the chances he's going to crash into one or both of them trying to overtake? So Yuki Tsunoda coming in on lap 10. What does that mean for 3 18-lap stints now? Does that mean that he's doing 3 18-lap stints? 36. And then... what is it? 54? I don't know. Yeah, 36. Is it 54 then? So if Yuki Tsunoda now does maximum Pirelli mandated tyre stints, he's got 54 laps of that, and there's only 47 to go of the Grand Prix. So it's very difficult now. Very difficult to work this out. St. James, how did you get your username so small? There's some binoculars to read it. Yeah, Piastri massively benefited from the Mercedes crash because he just happened to be the right place at the right time, and he could overtake everyone else who had to slow down. Let's have a look at the standings. I think Esteban Ocon's just been in the pits as well. Maybe Yuki Tsunoda is forcing people to cover off an undercut, and it's going to make people uncomfortable when it comes to the tyres, but we'll see. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a couple of people in that midfield maybe pit. Where is Gasly? Gasly... Yeah, Hulkenberg's got the 10-second penalty, by the way. So he's going to be sitting in the pit stop for a long time, but I think better to do... I'd rather they do that than they add it on at the end, because that means he can clear it and he can get racing. So 2.9 from Verstappen to Piastri. Oh, nice one, Gary. I didn't know there was Charlotte. Did not know that was Charlotte. Fernando Alonso pits. Fernando Alonso pits, everyone. Wow, so people are pitting way earlier here. Fernando Alonso pits off the mediums, as does Pierre Gasly. They're pitting off the mediums really early. Wow, welcome Richard, Colleen, Jeremy and Max, by the way. Oh, get out here with your other stream. We don't need that. We've all got a stream here. So there come Alonso and Gasly, who actually come out behind Liam Lawson and Magnussen, but they'll come out ahead of Ocon and Tsunoda, who were pitted. So Max Verstappen needs to pit no later than lap 17. This is where we need to, as a community, everyone, we need to kind of keep on top of what's going on here. It's going to be difficult. You can see at the top how many laps there are to go. 46 laps to go. I wasn't expecting people to pit so early off the mediums, because you may as well have started off on the softs, in my view, but maybe I've got it wrong there. Fernando Alonso goes medium to mediums. So let's just see, what did Alonso have? What did Alonso have available? Check my rate card. Alonso has gone mediums to mediums, so Alonso has definitely used a pair of scrub tyres. Alonso is either now on scrub tyres or he's used scrub tyres already. Charles Leclerc's been called in as well. So you can see Piastri comes in and Leclerc. Is that going to put pressure on Max Verstappen? Are we going to see undercut pressure on Max Verstappen? Snowline says, this is our stream. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Noah. Appreciate it.
Bottas is in pit lane.
So there we go. Piastri and Leclerc in. Meanwhile, I'm just going to call my drivers in as well. Lots of tyre wear here at Qatar, we are seeing. Box.
Okay, so boxes lap max.
Keep an eye on the pit exit there for Piastri and Charles Leclerc. And with so many pit stops, I mean, if your pit crew's really on it, it could really add up by the end of the race. Oh, there we go, George Russell. That must have been on...
Box.
Alex Albon. It's all chops and changed now. I'm having a look at the Piastri stop. Piastri came in and he goes mediums to mediums. So let me just check. Did Piastri have a new set of mediums, or is that going to involve a scrub set? Let's see. For Piastri, yes, is using a scrub set or has used a scrub set. Gary say, oh, it's all fun and games on the exit here. Why has that happened? Why has Oscar Piastri come out behind Liam Lawson? So Oscar Piastri, Liam Lawson and Magnussen, I'm guessing they haven't pitted yet. So it's pretty disastrous to come out in that traffic there for Oscar Piastri. He might lose a bit of time here as Lando Norris goes in. Max Verstappen stays out. No worries, Matt. Good to have you on board with us. But I feel like Piastri's going to lose out a little bit here to Alonso and Charles Leclerc because of that traffic. No blue flags. It's all full position, theoretically. As very, very interesting to see when Norris comes out. Nico Hulkenberg, remember, he's got to take his 10-second stop and go, or 10-second pause in the pits. So it's not going to be great news for Hulkenberg. And there goes Lando Norris coming out. Wow, right in the battle between Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc. In fact, I think they both might have managed to pass Lando Norris there. I will keep an eye on that as I see it. So I'm just seeing now, here's a replay of Lando Norris coming in. Lando Norris comes in. The McLaren doing their second stop. Quite a gentle approach to a hole. Mediums to mediums. It's a 2.5. Felt very relaxed. Relaxed can be smooth. And he came out in an absolute war zone here. Oh dear, I don't feel too well. I'm going to have to get some cough sweets. I'll be back in a second. I'll be back to safeguard my voice. You got everything you need, right?
Okay, good job.
Gained a place.
I'm back. I'm back. George Russell in as well. And again, a lot of people going mediums to mediums. I wonder if Sergio Perez is going to benefit by being able to go longer on the hard tyre. And Max Verstappen still to pit as well. So Max Verstappen going very long on these mediums. I wonder if everyone else is worried about covering other people off. And Verstappen's just not worried about it. You can see Liam Lawson filtering back because he's going super long as well. That's causing carnage for people. Apple's saying, I think Albon is lost. Well, Albon's just going super long. Albon's going to maximise it. We're going to see some really interesting strategy in this race. I'm having a look here at Oscar Piastri on, that would have been Kevin Magnussen. Very regulation overtake on the start-finish straight. Who thinks they should make Max ride a donkey around the last lap to give others a chance? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure where that's going to fly. We'll see. So we're really barreling our way through these pit stops. So the driver's still to pit. The driver's still to make one pit stop. Are Verstappen, Albon, Perez, Guan Yu Zhou,
So far.
Bottas, and Lance Stroll. Everyone else I'm aware of has pitted. Welcome Brendan, Jason, Daniel, Izuku, Mike, FNAF, and Chris. Is Verstappen going to box now? Remember, they can't afford to make a mistake here. If they go too long, they will be disqualified. So they need to get this right, but it's interesting how Verstappen is going much, much longer than anyone else. And I'm not sure what... Is it because he's doing his long stint now? The other drivers do their long stint later? I'm not sure. Is Alex Albon going to dive into the pits, or is Alex Albon also on that? And where's it? Is Alex Albon getting massively undercut here? Because it could be the case. Yeah, Sainz saying Max is trusting too much on that pair of mediums. Very interesting to see this different strat. Meanwhile, Nico Hulkenberg's there because he took a massive penalty. Oh, Bottas has already pitted on the safety car, but it hasn't helped him a huge amount in terms of minimum laps he needs to do, right? Reynolds, what happened with George Russell and Lewis Hamilton? They came together in turn one. I think it's Lewis Hamilton's fault. I think it's Lewis Hamilton's. Yes, you can. If you do not comply with this, everyone, if you do not comply with this, you will be disqualified. That's why we've got that information up. Let me know if you need to see it anytime. Gary Laster's doing the maths there. 18, 17, 17, 18. So he's really going to push it. So Max Verstappen is not going to worry about any undercuts. He's just going to max out every stint. So let's see. There is Verstappen, by the way. So Verstappen does go in now. Verstappen boxes. Is there any chance that the likes of Piastri could have caught him? I'm not sure. Meanwhile, look at Fernando Alonso about to lap his teammate, right? No. Sorry, I got that wrong. Sorry, Lance Stroll hasn't pitted. Ignore that. So there comes Verstappen out of the pits. Alex Albon might lead this Grand Prix. Yes, indeed. Sergio Perez comes as well. So Alex Albon is leading the Grand Prix, but you remember, you got to pit, Alex. You got to pit, otherwise you're going to be disqualified. So make sure you dive into that pit. As I'm looking at the Verstappen pit stop, Gary saying Max has a 24-second buffer. Wow. Well, he's earned it then, hasn't he? I mean, Max is just absolutely cruising on those mediums. Cruising. Yep. Take a photo, everyone. Alex Albon in the lead of the Grand Prix. There's a Williams leading the Grand Prix. Like the old days. Can we get some Williams emojis out there? Get some Williams emojis. So he says, bro, I'm so sick of Max winning. What the hell? Well, anything can happen in this race. And at the moment, Max isn't winning. Alex Albon leads the Qatar 2023 Grand Prix. Can he go all the way? Go on, Alex. Just make a run for it. Thanks, Black, for keeping an eye on Light Power. Frank saying, Frank Williams would be proud. Yes, indeed. Go on, Alex Albon. Oh, box. Albon's going to box. Do one more lap. Oh, he has to box. It's lap 18. So Alex Albon has pushed it right to the limit. I'm guessing Guan Yu Zhou boxed on the safety car. Always going to box now. I know he's boxing now. So now, with 18 laps of the Grand Prix done, everyone has boxed once, because that's your limit. You can't go any longer on a single set of tyres. So keep an eye out then for lap. I'm going to predict Alex Albon's going to try and box lap 36 if he's got the tyres available. And he does have a lot of tyres available, actually. That's the advantage of Alex Albon. Is Stroll being told to let Alonso through? Maybe Stroll had to let Alonso through. We'll see. So, a very congested race now. Let me try and explain what's going on. Valtteri Bottas is in a... This reminds me of doing my 24-hour races, actually, because is Valtteri Bottas desynced by a pit stop? Or can Valtteri Bottas technically get there on the same amount of pit stops? Let me get the tyres up for you, everyone. There's the tyres. Do you see what I mean, chat? Is Valtteri Bottas technically on the same number of pit stops as the other drivers, or not? Enjoy your day, Sweating Max. Very nice. Perez crashed. No, Perez hasn't crashed. Don't think. I think Perez is just struggling. Francis, I thought you Tifosi. What's with the papaya? If you look closely, this isn't exactly papaya, is it? There's a little clue here. Welcome, Charis Quick. Now, what's going on? What's the best in the rest? So Alonso has also got past Valtteri Bottas. So our standings at the moment are Verstappen, Piastri, Alonso, Norris, Leclerc, and Ocon is potentially a driver on the move. Let's have a look at the lap times. We haven't dipped in here for a while. Well, Piastri was half a second quicker than Verstappen last lap around. Anyone else on the move? George Russell on the move. And Sergio Perez on the move as well. So Sergio Perez has got potentially a lot of overtakes to get done. And likewise for Russell. Can Russell get past Gasly, Ocon, and then make a move on the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc? Who do I think will be on the podium? Very difficult to call. But I'd say Verstappen for sure. As Fernando Alonso, he got past Valtteri Bottas on the home straight. Just a DRS assisted move. Fairly sound. But look at Oscar Piastri then. Compare where he is to Lando Norris. Yes, you could say Lando Norris qualified 10th. But I would say Lando Norris qualified 10th because he didn't have the discipline to avoid getting track limits. So, Oscar Piastri, what are we going to see with regard to lap times this time around? 28.4 for for Verstappen. And for Oscar Piastri, it is a 28.2. Another lap where Oscar Piastri is faster than Max Verstappen and taking out more time into that gap. It's a 7.4 second gap. Although Max Verstappen went very, very, very long. So Max Verstappen is going to be on fresher tyres at this stage of the race. Gary says if you max out 18 laps for the first 3, that gives you 3 for the end. Does that mean that Valtteri Bottas is actually on the same strategy then? Is Valtteri Bottas, did he pit on lap 3? Is that why those drivers didn't pit on the second lap? They pitted on the third lap. Is that why they waited an extra lap even though it was less optimal, but they needed to? Has Valtteri Bottas played some 5D chess here? Good morning, Wyatt. Wake up, sir. We need to keep checking in what's going on in this race. Yes, and is also Lance Stroll. Is he on the same strat? Has Lance Stroll played some 6D chess? Is that what's going on? St. Jason Bottas was with softs, but it doesn't matter though. If you have a rump of a stint that you need to do. Oh, George Russell's off the track. Why are you off the track, George Russell? You're trying to overtake an Alpine. You're trying to overtake an Alpine there. Okay. So George Russell really on the move on the mediums. Snowline sending a kiss to Peter Galline. Galax saying Sargent will win. I respect your faith there. Although your man has dropped down to P16. So it's suboptimal. Bebop saying looks like last second pass for race. What happened here with George Russell? He went to the outside on turn 1. And oh, a little bit naughty there by Ocon. Was it Ocon? A little bit naughty by Gasly. Did Gasly leave a car's width on the outside? No. He definitely did not. George Russell on the radio saying he pushed me straight off. I think that could be a cheeky 5-second penalty for Pierre Gasly. Because Gasly, I think you've got to take a bit of a tighter line there and recognise there's a car trying to go around your outside. I know exactly what's going on there with the dynamics. And I reckon that should be a 5-second penalty to Pierre Gasly. He tried to... He used physics to stop George Russell from existing, basically. But under the laws of the road. And meanwhile, I think that's Lance Stroll diving into the pits. I think Lance Stroll dived in. Yes, Bottas, Stroll, Magnussen, Lawson. So now it's super difficult for me to work out what's going on. Are these guys on the same strategy or not? Are they on the same strategy now or not? What happens? Are they going to do the same number of pit stops in this race? Welcome to Clara and Madav as well. Great to have you on board. Zotti, do you think Ferrari has a chance of being on the podium? Not sure. VNet looks like Max's wife being on the phone telling him not to be late for Sunday dinner. He's not married, Max Verstappen. Lawson in the points. Again, you seem to be picking the rogue drivers there, Galax. I've got to be honest with you. You're picking out the rogue drivers. Still 35 laps to go, by the way. Still 35 laps to go. Oscar Piastri, 28.2. Who's in the pits there? Yuki Tsunoda, he was someone who pitted very early as well. Is pitting again. But it's going to be lap 36. By then, every driver will need to have done at least 2 pit stops. Alex Albon saying, I don't get it. I'm slower than I was before. So I don't think that's a change with the tyres. He is back up to P10 though. So much shopping and changing. We've got different groups with the pit stops. There's Yuki Tsunoda. Will he keep the position ahead of Kevin Magnussen? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Looks like Magnussen does get ahead. Yes, indeed. No worries, Galax. What happened with Hamilton and Sainz? 2 different issues there. Meanwhile, George Russell again is going to try and go around the outside of Pierre Gasly at turn 1. Also gets his wheel ahead. Oh my goodness, what a move that is by George Russell. The downforce in that Mercedes is frankly scary. That was an insane move from George Russell. Oh, we got another rival stream. We've got an insane move there by George Russell around the outside of Pierre Gasly, using all the curb though. Hang on. Is that going to be a track limit violation for George Russell? Because I reckon he was using all the curb and then some. So we'll keep an eye on that. Charles says good race has got here. It's a very, very interesting race. If you like a lot of stuff going on, this is your race. They've mandated about 1 billion pit stops. So everyone down to Logan Sargent is on the medium tyres right now. And meanwhile, the Guan Yu Zhou crowd, below, they're all on the hard tyres. And Oscar Piastri needs to pit within the next 2 laps. Oscar Piastri needs to pit within the next 2 laps because of the maximum 18 laps per tyre rule that's coming in. Tapping saying that Checo has a fast lap. Good to see. So I reckon we might, if we see a team mess up here and do more than 18 laps, that would be astonishing. That would genuinely be incompetent. So let's see. Fran saying fingers crossed to see Russell. Well, it's a hard one because the previous lap, Gasly didn't give him enough space. So this lap, he went all on the curb to get it done. He's now chasing down Esteban Ocon, by the way. Now, I'm expecting to see Oscar Piastri come into the pits very, very, very soon. The gap is 8 seconds. So is Piastri going to come in? And is he going to go onto his hard tyres? I think he might have done mediums. Piastri in, Piastri out. Piastri's still out. So Piastri will need to come in very soon to not get DQ'd. Gary saying Max has to pit by lap 35. Yeah, Black is completely correct there. The rule is, let me get the rules up again, everyone. Welcome to Michael, Louise, JB, Barbara. There we go, everyone. There we go. Just getting it up. That's the stats. So we've got the rules there. So Oscar Piastri, 8 seconds. He sort of maintained that gap quite well if you look at the standings. Fernando Alonso definitely falling backwards to in the clutch of Lando Norris. And then George Russell, the Mercedes, looks really on it. I mean, if you think Lewis Hamilton should be up there or thereabouts, it's pretty shocking, really, isn't it? I mean, Lewis Hamilton started this race in, was it third? George Russell second, Lewis Hamilton third. So, if I remember. So that you would have a Mercedes up there, but we've kind of been robbed by that because I think Lewis Hamilton just got his angles very badly wrong. Now, are we going to see Oscar Piastri box this lap? And where is that going to put him in the traffic? Is he then going to lose a lot of time in traffic? Yeah, box is the call for Oscar Piastri. So Piastri goes in. Piastri boxes. Anyone else going to follow him? If I recall, he's a couple of laps earlier than other drivers. So where is he going to come out? Is he going to come out just behind this Gasly-Perez battle? Charles Leclerc boxes as well, by the way. So Leclerc's in the box. So where does Piastri come out? Did he come out behind Sergio Perez? I think he does. But ahead of Alex Albon? That's not necessarily a terrible place to be in terms of having some clean air for the moment. Although he will need to get past, I think, Sergio Perez. He went very late into his stint. Sorry, Joe. Are you timing yourself out there? You were the person spamming all these links. Yeah, Gary in the chat is keeping an eye on things. I mean, I think it's going to be carnage. I've got to be honest, I think they've been the wrong tyres and stuff, and that will happen. Charles Leclerc comes out, by the way, just behind Lance Stroll. So I'm sure they would have wanted to come out just ahead. And Esteban Ocon. Does that release George Russell? Does George Russell basically sort of able to... it's not an undercut, it's the opposite of an undercut. As I think the Alpine team were waiting for someone who never came. No, it was Esteban Ocon. Charles Leclerc 2.3 second stop, and Ocon went onto the hard tyres. So we're seeing the hard tyre stints occurring now. And then maybe people will finish on the mediums, or maybe some brave people go on the softs. As I see here, an Alfa Romeo going round the outside of a Williams. That's Guan Yu Zhou on Logan Sargent. Logan Sargent currently in P10, but everything is just so, you know, it's all subject to a lot of pit stops happening. As in comes Fernando Alonso, but Lando Norris doesn't come in. Pierre Gasly as well. Now, what can George Russell do? How long has George Russell got? Alonso saying the seat is burning. Anything we can do at the pit stop? Throw me water or something. Understand, Fernando. We'll have a thing of doing things. So Alonso's butt is on fire. Sizzling away there in the Aston Martin. Does that release George Russell? Is Alonso going to get out ahead of Guan Yu Zhou as well? I don't think so. So we need to get back there. It's so messy, isn't it, on the pit stops? Almost impossible to come out exactly where you want to. As Pierre Gasly is going to come out behind Esteban Ocon, I would expect. Oh, has Ocon managed to? Yeah, Ocon's going to get ahead. And the big question is, will George Russell effectively overtake both of them in the pits? We will see. We'll see if George Russell will be able to slot in behind Charles Leclerc. You're sort of having a bit of an anonymous race, but let's not forget the order right now is Perez, Piastri, Alonso. So Alonso right now is on the podium. Not sure if they did throw any water. They only had 2.3 seconds to do it. Very dusty in the pit lane. It's a long stop for Pierre Gasly. 4.4 second stop for Pierre Gasly. Something went wrong there. Meanwhile, George Russell is using up the last of his tyres here. A 127.1 is 7/10 quicker than Verstappen and Lando Norris. So Russell is now trying to put in some qualifying laps and overtake a lot of people as they're pitting. Very interesting there from George Russell. So you see Lando Norris in the pits. Where's Lando going to come out? Probably, I would imagine, behind... Well, is it a battle with Alonso for Lando Norris? Is Lando Norris going to come out ahead of Fernando Alonso? He's on the move now. He's on the move now. Keep an eye on this. As Sergio Perez went very wide in the curb, sparked it up. Is Lando Norris, has he overtaken Fernando Alonso significantly in the pit stop phase? Well, Guan Yu Zhou is involved as well. It's all full position. Looks very messy for Lando Norris there. But I think Lando Norris overtook Fernando Alonso during that pit stop phase. And that means your de facto order at the moment is Verstappen, Piastri, Norris. As Piastri trying to get past Alex Albon. I'm going to have a look here at the Lando Norris stop. So Norris came in. Hard tyres. Is it hard tyres going on? I need to check from the outside. Actually, it might be mediums. Might be mediums there for Lando Norris. So it might be on a different strategy. And Norris came out. How was it with Guan Yu Zhou? He was on the inside. Guan Yu Zhou managed to overtake him around the outside. And Lando Norris is now still behind Guan Yu Zhou and actually dropping off Guan Yu Zhou. What is going on there? How is Guan Yu Zhou keeping that sort of pace up? And that's going to push him back into the clutches of Fernando Alonso. So it was almost brilliance there. If Lando Norris had gone out ahead of Guan Yu Zhou, it would have been utter brilliance. But it hasn't worked out that way. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri is dicing with Alex Albon and frankly can't get it done. Alex Albon is really being a thorn in the side of Oscar Piastri. Oscar Piastri does not need this one bit. Welcome, Daily CFC. Yeah, Max Verstappen is ahead, but bear in mind that Piastri was 8 seconds behind when he boxed. So keep an eye on the lap times basically between Piastri and Verstappen. But Piastri, there we go. Piastri gets past Albon, but that will have compromised him a little bit. Oh dear. So, wow, are we halfway through the race? I think we're literally about halfway through this race, everyone. So, very interesting scene so far. Jasu again with the pink hands. And, yeah, Lando Norris on the mediums. Fernando Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou, by the way, are on the hard tyre. And Guan Yu Zhou is getting away from Lando Norris. So let's keep an eye on the Piastri pace. 31.8 at the moment for Oscar Piastri. 31.8, which is almost half a second quicker than Max Verstappen in one sector alone. So Oscar Piastri might be really trying to turn the screw now. Jess saying apparently Logan feels unwell. Oh no. Oh no. Well, I'm afraid you just got to really tough it out, Logan. Russell, George, we're currently looking at a possible P4 here. Keep on top of those track limits. I would say George Russell should be looking at a podium, given that the current battle for P3 between Lando and Alonso doesn't seem to be setting the world on fire. 3,000 people watching. Let's do another nation check. Let's just check in at the halfway point in the race. Let us know which country in the world you're watching from. UK was dominating earlier. Some Netherlands, some Australia. We had Zambia rolling in, South Africa. I didn't see a whole load of USA, so let us know right now, where in the world are you watching from? There we go, Rue's watching from down under. CJ from the US. MJ from Holland, Prithvi from India. Live Trap from Belgium. Mac from England. Zing from Singapore. Natasha from Netherlands. Chiati from Netherlands. Saint from Portugal. Fido from Slovakia. Joe from the UK. Efna South Africa. Fran from Cyprus. Tiffany South Africa. Crater Romania. Nigel Georgia. Unity Philippines. Satyam from India, VNet from USA, Chloe from Canada. Oh, it's moving quick now. Latvia's in there as well. Portugal, Netherlands, Israel, Canada, Bangladesh, Poland, South Africa, Noah from Mexico, Crosby from the Philippines, And then whoa, it's just moving quick now. Some more Sylvia as well from the Philippines. Isadora from Brazil. Moser is watching from Qatar. Very nice. Jacob again, ever present from Denmark. One of the most consistent things in this stream is Jacob watching from Denmark. Matthew from France. You know what? We don't get a lot of people watching from France. We are not big in France. Uganda, Kazakhstan, Germany, Mauritius, Djibouti, Nigeria. Okay, right now we've got the African nations coming in. Great. Love to see it. South Africa, Finland, Oman. Love it. Okay, right. Kenya as well. Okay, Antarctica. I think a good spread. I think a good spread, everyone. We've got a good spread today. I'm trying to keep track of everything for you. Let me get this up again. This is where we are, and I wonder if it's all going to come to it at the end. So, Verstappen said, let's have a managed increase in pace at this point. Verstappen says, what's that? Pick up the pace a little bit from here, but it has to be sustainable. I don't know if that's Verstappen being sarcastic, or he's never been asked to pick up the pace before. I wonder if they're genuinely afraid of the pace of Oscar Piastri. Meanwhile, Lando Norris has managed to escape the clutches of Guan Yu Zhou and Fernando Alonso and do a 126.2. So what's happened there? As we were doing the nation check, Millie's watching from Monaco. Let us know how life is in Monaco, Millie. Poland's in there as well. You love to see it. We love to see it. Even got North Korea in the house. So I'm not sure what happened between... as Perez comes in, that's going to release Piastri, which is great news for Piastri. But Loris managed to get past Guan Yu Zhou and has absolutely left Fernando Alonso for dead. Now, where is George Russell? There's George Russell. Where is George Russell going to come out when he does his pit stop? Keep an eye that he's basically a sector ahead of Charles Leclerc now. And that first sector is 31 seconds. So I think George Russell is going to overtake Charles Leclerc. Because if I remember, George Russell came in behind one of the Alpines and Charles Leclerc, but the pace has been consistent. JTX is watching from Mercedes HQ in Stuttgart. JTX, can you get us a factory tour? Can we stream the next one from Mercedes HQ in Stuttgart? Does that work? Can you arrange that for us? Sam was watching from Aruba in the Dutch Caribbean. One of my favourite Caribbeans, that one, is the Dutch Caribbean. Sergio Perez, meanwhile, it looked like they had... Did he have a penalty? Were they waiting for Sergio Perez in the pits? I wonder if it was a penalty for Sergio Perez. Seemed to be a very long time. I didn't see a penalty come up without going all Chris. Right, Russell in the pits. Right, haven't I looked now at Russell? Is Russell going to come out ahead of Charles Leclerc? I think it'll be quite comfortable. What's it going to be between George Russell and Fernando Alonso? Keep an eye on the Russell-Alonso. I just wonder if Alonso has had some sort of issue here. Whoa, look at everyone subscribing there. We love to see it. We're making a big push for 62k here. George Russell, though, going to come out here. Keep an eye on the George Russell-Fernando Alonso. This could be one of the best stints we've seen in Formula 1 in recent races. George Russell, oh no, not going to quite get it. Fernando Alonso goes. And is it going to be the Guan Yu Zhou problem again? It's going to be the Guan Yu Zhou issue for George Russell because he's got to get past Guan Yu Zhou. He's the gatekeeper. Okay, but a massive... If you think George Russell was in between Ocon and Gasly... Oh, Alonso! What's happened with Alonso? Is it a timing issue? Is it a timing issue for Alonso? Has Alonso gone wide? Let's keep an eye on it. Let's keep an eye on it. Is it some sort of issue for Alonso here? Or is it a timing issue? Because that would put Russell into provisional 4th, and he's got the rest of the race to try and catch up with Lando Norris. What happened here with Fernando Alonso? Let's see. So George Russell came out of the pit behind, to be honest, quite comfortably behind Guan Yu Zhou by about a couple of seconds. So what happened here with a Fernando Alonso? Is it a telemetry issue? I'm going to let you know what I'm seeing. Oh, I saw some smoke. I just saw some smoke. Oh, yes, Fernando Alonso went off. He's all into the gravel. Oh, no, Fernando Alonso. He's on a different part of the circuit. No, no, no. And in fact, he gets overtaken by Charles Leclerc. Is it a hot butt Alonso? Just there. Has he got some sort of issues? Look at that. Oh, it was all going so well for Fernando Alonso. The man that I tipped to have a good race. It's a disaster there. Yes, welcome to the new subscribers. But... really bad news. Verstappen, meanwhile, has been told to box. So Verstappen is going to box this lap. Verstappen is going to be in this lap. Box. Keep an eye on the gap between Piastri
Really nice stuff.
and... but it's huge. It's huge. I mean, look how many sectors ahead Verstappen is from Piastri. You know, he's easily sector 3, and that's a 25. So we'll have a look here. But it was an 8-second gap there. Fernando Alonso, dearie me, just went off the track on the hard tyres. And I had to join from the escape route there. And it was, very careful. In fact, that might be a dangerous rejoin. That might be a penalty for Fernando Alonso. Because that is a very dangerous rejoin. He joined from an exit road and completely cut along Charles Leclerc there. Yeah, what's happened to the oldie today? Fran from Cyprus as well. There comes Max Verstappen out of the pit, and I tell you what, is that going to be maybe a 10-second gap? Maybe a 12-second gap or something like that? 10, 12, I don't know. Well, right now it's saying 8. If it is 8 seconds, then that is exactly where we were. So Oscar Piastri in that case is able. That's why they were telling Verstappen, look, just increase the pace a little bit. Because Oscar Piastri is there or thereabouts. Max can order a McDonald's menu in while pitting. Not exactly, because Oscar Piastri has actually gained on Max Verstappen in that sequence. It was a 2.5 second stop for Verstappen. It's not the worst. Meanwhile, George Russell, keep an eye on the lap times between George Russell and Lando and Oscar Piastri. Are we going to see a battle up there? Is Piastri going to fade a little bit? We will see. Simon's hoping Russell can recover the race. Welcome to Ricky Cox, Jared, Alex, Council, Faceless, Luis, PKJ. Prandl saying Max is unstoppable. Yeah, it's really good stuff from Max here. Really good stuff from Max. But it's a very exciting race. Piastri's not too far behind. And Fernando Alonso now, you know, does he have the inherent pace? Or is he genuinely just really struggling? Can he get back at Charles Leclerc? Because at the moment we're looking at a Red Bull McLaren podium. But George Russell might have something to say about that. He does the fastest sector 2 that we've seen in this race so far. And it's a very fast sector 2. Have a look at the lap time this might be from George Russell. This might be a very fast lap time. We might be seeing a purple lap time here from Russell. And he might just be able to see Lando Norris at the end of the straight. Logan Sargent, I think, might still be complaining about not feeling too well. As George Russell does a 125.7. 125.7. So, yeah, half a second quicker than Oscar Piastri. No worries, Jared Con. Good to have you with us. Good to have you with us. Feel free to share the stream. Can we get to 62k subscribers as well? Welcome, Captain Emerald. Yeah, can you let us know what Logan's on about, what he's chatting about there? Oscar Piastri is, by the way, bringing that gap down even more, isn't he? 6-second gap now between Verstappen and Oscar Piastri. Could we be able to see some you know, what's the gap going to, what's the difference going to be in lap times between George Russell and Max Verstappen as well? 25.7 for George Russell. Can he keep up that pace, or was that a particularly ERS heavy lap? We will see. Logan, you got to keep in there because you are chasing Nico Hulkenberg. So you just got to hang in there, my guy. Come on. You can do this. Just be sick in the helmet. We've all done it. We've all done it. JTX saying Max on new tyres takes a little bit of time. Well, let's see. Keep an eye on the lap times going through. 26.2 for Verstappen. So Russell was half a second quicker. They might have had the benefit of some new tyres. I'm not sure. 26.5 for Piastri and 26.2 for Norris. What's George Russell going to do? And can he start to take out, with over 20 laps to go, can he take out half a second on Lando Norris each lap? No, he can't, because he's actually slower that lap than Lando Norris. So the George Russell hype train comes from an abrupt derailing there. And in fact, well, he's still much quicker than the likes of Fernando Alonso and Charles Leclerc. Fernando Alonso is really thrown away potentially a good result here. Megan's watching and listening from Lusail. Love to hear it. Welcome back, Megan. Vince is watching from Ireland. What happened to Hamilton? Basically binned it. He crashed. Yes, indeed. He crashed. So, sit rep on the race as it looks like Bottas. Is that Bottas and Ocon having a great battle there? Remember, we'll start to see Bottas come in. So as soon as we get to, remember, everyone can then do 18 laps max on a tyre. So are we going to see a lot of people pit with 18 laps to go and get on their final set of tyres? Welcome, Joris. How's Sunday for you today? Not too bad. Lovely to be here. Lovely to be sharing the race with everyone. That's what it's all about. All about. Come on, Logan Sargent. We all want you to do well here. We all want you to catch up with Nico Hulkenberg, who got that 10-second penalty. So, where are we? I'm actually gonna... Shall I restart this race? Once we hit 1k likes, basically the stream just gets massively promoted. I'm looking at the gap between Verstappen... By the way, Verstappen on the hard tyre. Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris still need to do the hard tyre stint. George Russell is on his hard tyre stint right now. So have a look at the tyre stints there. So maybe the McLarens are actually looking a little bit, you know, the pace might be not utterly representative. They're on a faster tyre and a lot of drivers around them. I'm just going to restart the visualization here. Let me just get that re-visualized for you, everyone. Just so that will just run to the end of the thing now here at Qatar. Good for me to just rest my voice as well. Logan feels sick. I feel a little bit sick as well, but we're just gonna push through. We're just gonna push through, everyone. So yeah, bear in mind the McLarens there are on the medium tyres, which has proved to be the fastest tyre really today. The best race tyre to be on. What are the chances for Norris? Rashini says, Rashini, well, I think Lando Norris has really got to try and prove now that he's a faster driver than Oscar Piastri, and he is the #1 driver in that team. And he has done just that on the last lap, because he's 4 tenths quicker, and at that rate he will catch Oscar Piastri with more than 10 laps to go of the race. Perez under investigation, track limits. So that could be a black and white flag for Sergio P. Right, just saying Logan wants to carry on. Great to hear. Zero, I don't think Alonso is throwing anything away, especially when his butt cheeks are on fire. Isn't that the Kings of Leon song? So, look at the gap between Norris and Piastri. I feel like Piastri is dropping off a little bit on Max Verstappen, which is pretty ominous because Verstappen's on the hard tyre. But what does that mean for George Russell? If George Russell can match the McLaren pace on the hard tyre, what can he do in a few laps when he goes out? Now, I think Oscar says 19 laps to go. I think we're going to see a lot of people pit. It's going to be pit stops, and the next few laps are going to be mad on the pit stop front, basically. Yeah, the next few laps are going to be mad on the pit stop front. So let me just remind you where we are. Are people going to be going on to heavily scrubbed sets at the end? Are people going to be forced to go on to softs because they don't have the mediums available? Remember, the people like Piastri have done 3 sets on the mediums right now. They've done 3 sets on the mediums. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? So he's going to go on to fresh hards at the end. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen is going to have to go onto worn mediums, I believe. Welcome to Tristan, Tina, Richard, and Andrew. Great to have you on board. Great to have you as part of the community. Oh, and Saliel and Chaos as well. Little bonus there, as Lando Norris is the fastest Sector 3 out of absolutely anybody. So Lando Norris is on fire right now, trying to eat into Oscar Piastri. But keep an eye on George Russell. I think George Russell, he's the driver at the moment with the fastest lap. Here we go, the last pit stops are occurring. Perez, another 5-second penalty for track limits. That's hurting our race. Shades of Fisichella getting told to be faster compared to Alonso back in the Renault days, because Sergio Perez is having just an absolutely shocking time out here. Where is he? He's P11, but I don't think he's good on the pit stop front. And he's got another 5-second. No worries, Fran. Great to have you all on board here. Welcome, Tristan, as well. Yeah, Perez is just absolutely washed right now. And you can see Bottas, Sargent, so Sargent's still got a pit. Bottas, Stroll, Magnussen, Hulkenberg. We might see some lap traffic now affecting some of the front runners. So we'll see. That's the first group of people that are pitting. But I think we'll see this. I think we're just going to see everyone pit now. Welcome, Athav. Joe Mercedes saying, not surprised as Perez. The season this year has been poor. Yeah, understatement of the year, that one. So George Russell, what lap times is Russell doing? Max Verstappen, meanwhile, unleashing. Does that mean because he's going to box soon, he's using the final life in those tyres? 125.6 is frankly obscene at this stage in the race. Piastri, 126.2, a little bit quicker than Norris and Russell. Charles Leclerc's in no man's land, but he went around 7/10 quicker than Fernando Alonso last time. So we'll have to see. Yeah, Max lapped Lawson, so we are seeing people lap now. Tsunoda comes in. He's always on a slightly different strategy. Black and white flag for Lance Stroll, by the way. But I'm interested to see as Verstappen overtakes Logan Sargent in the last corner there. Sargent again was on the radio. Sick boy Sarge. I'm interested to see what's going to happen here with the pit stops between Piastri, Norris, Russell, Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton, maybe the Alpines as well. Really strung out now, hasn't it? Yeah, getting lapped. Nothing like it. Black and white flag means a warning as Logan Sargent runs wide. Looks like he's really struggling here, actually, to be fair, Logan Sargent. Looks like he's really struggling. I've got to be honest. I think he might have just been sick.
You're looking good at the moment.
I think Logan Sargent might have just thrown up in his helmet. We've all been there as racing drivers.
Oh my god.
Sergio Perez, by the way, did get another penalty for just running
That's put you P2.
not that far wide, but don't know why he's playing with fire there. He'd no need to do that. He's gained nothing and he's lost a 5-second penalty. Yeah, I think Logan Sargent's just been sick everywhere. So, yeah, pretty gross scenes in the Williams garage. He's in the pits as well. Just going to have to do a deep clean of that Williams. So what's going on at the front of the race? Verstappen, Piastri, Norris. I think Piastri will be the driver that needs to pit first. Because, oh, Logan Sargent. Oh, my God. Oh. Oh. I'll let you know what Logan Sargent had for lunch, because it looks like... How many laps left? 15 laps left? Sorry, Galax, I know you've been supporting Logan all the way through, and maybe he would have won the race if he hadn't absolutely chundered everywhere. We'll never know, frankly. We'll never know. I can't repeat what I've just seen, because I'll get demonetised. It's just pure filth. Disgusting. Has Piastri pitted yet? No, Piastri hasn't pitted. 15 laps to go.
Copy.
Max Verstappen with that 10-second gap, but remember he's doing that on the hard tyre. So everyone will need to... Well, everyone in the top half of the grid needs to pit still. So let's see how this shakes down. Yeah, maybe he needs to drink in a race. Welcome to Martin, Edu and Rog. Pretty grim. Pretty grim scenes. Not something I thought I'd ever commentate on. Right, Piastri's been called to come in. So Piastri's going to come in. And meanwhile, Lando Norris has really got that gap down. So I wouldn't be surprised now if you see Lando Norris really do some very fast sectors here to try and get that gap close as Oscar Piastri's in the pits.
Okay, that was a purple lap.
So keep an eye here on Lando Norris. And in fact, as I say it, Lando Norris just on the fastest lap of the race. As I predicted, he's really going to go for this. He's really going to go for it. George Russell, meanwhile, is... You know... He hasn't boxed yet, so we need to see. You know, can Russell catch up with Norris? What's the gap there? It's an 11-second gap. There's not a lot of time to do it. Where's Magnussen? He's just been lapped. That's why you don't see him on the radar, I think. Dash says, can Leclerc get a top 2 finish? No, he cannot. He will not get a top 2 finish. I'll predict that for you right now. That ain't going to happen. Lance Stroll, meanwhile, 5-second penalty for track limits. There goes Leclerc, Ocon, Perez, meanwhile, will be taking this 5-second penalty. Just confirming that Sargent was sick in the car. Yep. Not pretty scenes. And they saying rip Sargent. Snowline saying Lando kisses, though. Is it a good stop there for Piastri? Yes, it is. I think so. Will Lando win? No, I don't think he will win. In fact, it looks very bad for Perez here. He's going to end up behind Bottas and Stroll, who are both pitted already. They don't do any more pit stops, if I've read the race correctly. So it's bad news for Perez. In fact, he might even in danger of getting lapped here by Max Verstappen. Car 10 getting a 5-second penalty. Who is car 10? Is that one of the Alpines? Who's car number 10? Gasly it is. So Gasly track limit penalty as well. So what's happening now? Here comes Norris, right? So have a look at the gap between Norris and Piastri. Has Norris managed to do some mad laps and get that gap less than 3 seconds? So here comes Norris. Piastri will presumably overtake him because there was a 3-second gap. But I wonder if we're going to have a close battle now between the two McLarens. I definitely feel like it's a lot closer than it was before. Yes, it's about a second. And Lando Norris is actually going to have slightly fresher tyres as well. So Lando Norris has played a blinder there. Meanwhile, Alonso, Gasly and Albon come in. Keep an eye on George Russell, who could profit massively if the McLarens come together like the Mercedes did earlier. What was the stop like for Lando Norris? Oh, it looked like a really slick stop. Look like I haven't got the number. 2.1. Yes, a very slick stop. Meanwhile, have a look at the battle there between Gasly, Bottas, Stroll. It's a real mess in that part of the midfield. Wonder if we could see a safety car and who that would benefit right now. I mean, it would benefit George Russell at this particular moment. I'm surprised Russell and Verstappen haven't pitted yet. Welcome to Sammy from Nigeria. Snowlight saying Stroll is a national embarrassment. Who will come second, Norris or Piastri? Difficult to see. It looks like we had an issue with our glitching screen. I wonder if they're racing side by side. I wonder if the McLarens are racing side by side. Right, keep an eye here. We could see fireworks in the McLaren side of things, because that might have been a timing error there, but it's very close regardless. Very close. 2.5 seconds now, and is Lando Norris going to have the bit between his teeth and try and prove that he is the #1 driver here for McLaren. Been great, by the way, to share this. I haven't felt super well today, but it's great to share all of this experience with you. And we'll be back for the remainder of the races as well. And lots of content coming on the channel. My Real World Racing. Why is Hamilton showing on the radar? My Real World Racing in the Mazdas. Kart racing coming up as well. So loads of stuff coming up. Meanwhile, Logan Sargent is getting back in the car. Is he going to do a Sergio Perez? Logan Sargent getting back in the car. So, not sure what's going on there. Is old Sargent getting in? So, George Russell, I'm expecting George Russell to pit. Is George Russell going to make a tilt for it on the soft tyre? Is it going to be 5 DHS from Mercedes? Put him on the softs like he was in the sprint race yesterday. Are we going to see that from George Russell? Can he go fresh softs or a lightly scrub set till the end? We will see. He's not botting this lap. So what's the gap between Russell and Piastri? It is a 12-second gap. So what can he do on the softs? Yeah, maybe they'll auction off Logan Sargent's vomited-in helmet for charity. Pierre Gasly confirmation that he got a 5-second penalty that he might have taken in that pit stop phase. That's pushing back. Oh, it's another 5-second penalty. Is Logan going to come back in the race? Well, they put him in the car, so let's say they've told him to just stay in the car, Logan. Just stop causing any more trouble. Am I running a fever? No, but I've obviously got quite a sore throat. So, right, Lando Norris being told we're going to hold position, bring it home. Oh, I don't think Lando, why do you want to do that? We have a big gap. Clearly, I'm clearly a lot quicker. Here we go. A bit of spice now. A bit of spice at McLaren, and Lando sets the fastest lap to prove the point. And it's not just the fastest lap. It's half a second quicker than Oscar Piastri. So Lando Norris, I think, is going to prove the point here. Now, this is an issue for the team. They need to, as Pierre Gasly, getting another really stupid penalty. No point doing that. and he had to wait for 5 seconds before anyone could touch the car. But yeah, I mean, also, Lando Norris here is going to really push the point. What is the gap? It is 1.5 seconds. So Norris is very close to being in. Oh, Alex Albon with a 5-second penalty. No, Alex Albon, 5-second penalty for, you guessed it, track limits, and that is not really going to affect too much because he's not in the points already. So I imagine they're going to be screaming at Lando Norris now, telling him, look, you need to hold position. You need to hold position. Last I saw, Logan Sargent was gingerly getting back in the car, sloshing his way back in. So if I'm Lando Norris now, I make the point by catching Piastri significantly and say, look, you know, but the issue is for McLaren is no one right behind them. But we'll see when George Russell pits. When George Russell pits, that might change the dynamic. And then if I was Lando Norris, I'd say, yeah, but look, Russell's going to pit. I'm clearly a lot faster. Let me through. So what has Oscar Piastri got in the locker here? It looks like he's gained a little bit with now a 2-second gap. Sargent's car desperately needs to be washed. So Logan Sargent's car needs to be washed. Can Leclerc get a top 4? If anyone ahead of him crashes. But quite an anonymous race by Charles Leclerc. We've only got one Mercedes on track and one Ferrari, and I think that's simplified things somewhat. Is Logan Sargent back on track? Is the Sarge back on track? Galax is happy. Galax, you going to bid for the helmet? Mustafa says, when are they finishing? They'll finish when the race is done, my friend. Oh, dearie me. Mustafa has got bee in his bonnet about the race end. I'm very surprised that George Russell has not pitted yet. Magnussen being told we need to Bravo 10 position 4, please. I don't know if that's a engine saving measure. Gary saying no, Sergeant. Let's have a look here. The track limits for Alex Albon. Where was it? Turned in. Oh, another really silly track limits that didn't need to happen. Maybe just fatigue or something. When is George Russell going to pit? And how is he lapping compared to the McLarens? Well, much slower. This really hasn't worked out for George Russell here. Is George Russell going to pit now? I think George Russell should have really gone onto the softs if he had a pair of softs available, Because if you look at the lap times compared with, he's done 25.8. Maybe he did a mistake, but that's still a second slower than Oscar Piastri, so he's lost a second a lap there. This track loves to catch people out of track limits. Yeah, but you know, track limits are the same for everyone. You just got to avoid them. Track limits same for everyone. Just got to avoid them. So Russell has to, Verstappen has to pit as well. Will he try and go for a faster lap bonus point? I mean, the pressure's off. He's world champion now. World champion. But I think George Russell needs to pit this lap. George Russell needs to pit. And I think that'll just slot him, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds behind the McLarens, sort of in no man's land. Is Norris going to press the point, though? Let's have a look. It's very close. Piastri was quicker last lap. There's a 2-second gap. Maybe Norris is managing at the moment, but if you want to get this result, but at the moment he's on the podium. He's getting a P3. If that was me, I'd think, you know, let's just we can also think about the long game. Unless I felt very confident I had a lot more pace, and I could basically do it unless Piastri defended dirtily. But let's see if Russell is going to jump into the pit box. George Russell stretching his hands, actually, taking his hands off the wheel on the home straight and stretching his fingers. And when I do that in karting, but I've never seen that in Formula 1. Is he just having a relaxing stretch or what? Right, there goes Russell into the pits. Welcome Evan, Ramon, Sangi, Mazzy, and anyone else. So Russell's going to come out now and just get a good view, maybe even, of that Norris-Piastri battle. Wolfie saying Piastri picked up the pace. Yeah, by the way, if you're new here and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, tickle that number up, see if we can get us a 62k. 62k there. But I know so many of you are subscribed, you've been enjoying the streams, which is awesome. There comes Russell. He's actually come out a lot further behind than I expected, to be honest. So maybe there was really nothing doing there for George Russell. He's had quite a good run, considering he was effectively last, wasn't he, after that spin, I would say, on the first corner. Lauren just says, yikes. And Daniela's supporting Piastri. TP saying Sargent is out. Right, George Russell comes in. Boxes, it was a 2.5 second stop. And now Verstappen making his stops. Unless there's a big drama here for Verstappen, he's going to come out and do 6 laps on whatever tyre he wants, really, because he's already done both compounds. And maybe get a fastest lap if he wants. But otherwise, nothing to worry about. So, let's see. What's the gap between Verstappen and Piastri? You know what? It's not massive, is it? It's not massive. Fair play to Piastri. Unless Max Verstappen's just been told to manage about a 10-second gap. In fact, the gap now is arguably closer than it's ever been, 5.2 seconds. So, if you're Lando Norris, do you say, well, look, in the last 6 laps, I could really get into Max Verstappen here? Or was he too far behind? What was the stop like? Oh, it's a classic camera spinny person's back. Love it. Very cool how they do that. They do that on the GoPro. Gary saying Max on the mediums. So Max on the mediums. Remember the McLarens were on the hards, I believe. Bert is saying Max is toying with them. Right, chat. So far, who is your driver of the day so far? A bit of a difficult one. But let us know who your driver of the day is. Who has been driving particularly well. What traffic is between Max and Piastri? Nothing, really. So, but the gap has come down a little bit more, it seems. 4.1 seconds. If Piastri can now take a second a lap out of Verstappen, which no one's ever done, it would be a very interesting finish. Bolivian saying Sargent, Escape saying Max, Anya saying Piastri, Rania Lando. I don't know how you can say Lando as opposed to Piastri, though. Just objectively, it seems like... Look at Piastri, that gap is 3.8 seconds. Is there an issue for Max Verstappen here? 3.7, or is there some issue getting the tyres turned on? Oscar Piastri is not a million miles behind Max Verstappen here. Don't count your horses yet, everyone. Bebop says Sargent's helmet. F1 saying Lando. Lauren saying Max. Snowline saying Max, but also feeling the papayas, as I believe that is Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly getting into a bit of battle, and that's Gasly going on to the dusty stuff on the outside to get the move done. That is for a championship point. As Guan Yu Zhou pits again. Did Guan Yu Zhou not quite make it to the end because he pitted for lap 1? Why is Guan Yu Zhou coming to the pits from such a high position? Did they just get the maths wrong at Alfa Romeo? There's only 5 laps to go, gentlemen. Why are you pitting Guan Yu Zhou? They must have just got it wrong. Welcome to Ong, Georgia, Longdon, Sono and Hobby Overload as well. Oh, we're close, everyone. We're close here. We're close to the 62k. We can do it, potentially. Yeah, not sure what's going on with Guan Yu Zhou. He's now dropped himself out of the points. I guess he ran out of laps. Carlos Sainz is on the Ferrari pit wall on the inside as well. Good to see. And the gap now between Piastri and Verstappen has stabilised. Max is slapping them. Ocon's P7 them. I think Valtteri Bottas had a really good race. Dare I say Valtteri Bottas driver of the day? And when's the last time we had an Alfa Romeo that high up in the points? I'm not sure. Can we say Valtteri Bottas driver of the day? Gasly being told to give back the position, by the way, to Lance Stroll. And it looks like he's also lost out to Sergio. Oh, it was 3 wide. Sergio Perez would have been one of those. So Gasly gave back the position to Lance Stroll, and Sergio Perez decided to take an opportunity as well. And then Sergio Perez tried to get past Lance Stroll, but Lance Stroll had some pretty good defense. So we saw he could do the offense in the pits the other day, but he's got the defense side as well. Gasly and Stroll, they're under investigation. Yeah, Joe saying Bottas great to say. Magnussen, I'm not sure we can do. I'm not sure we can say Magnussen. Meanwhile, the gap is 4 seconds between Max Verstappen and Oscar Piastri, so any small mistake from Max Verstappen, that will close down. George Russell settling for 4th, Leclerc for 5th, Fernando Alonso, what could have been for Alonso, frankly, Now, I'll let you know what happened here. So, Pierre Gasly, on the home straight, I believe, pulled over. Yeah, he let the DRS go to let Lance Stroll, but he didn't realise Sergio Perez was behind as well. And Sergio Perez, for the second time this week, made it a three-way. And frankly, I'm just lucky that I'm glad that everyone survived. Because Sergio Perez threw his hat into the ring. He's still behind Lance Stroll. Gary says, technically Russell should be DQ'd. He had to pit by lap 50 due to his position on pit road. His tyre did not come on. Now, that I agree with what you're saying. But 18 laps probably indicates a... And I'm sure if I was a savvy team engineer, I would have asked that in the briefing with the FIA. But very good observation there. Lance Stroll gets a 5-second penalty, by the way. Just as Bolivian said, he's having a good race. And I believe that's not his first 5-second penalty. There was a lot of opportunity here today in the midfield. If he just didn't mess up, there was a lot of opportunity. Now, can Valtteri Bottas go to the end? Or is he due another pit stop? Is Valtteri Bottas due another pit stop here? I'm not sure. I'm not sure because he's been pitting relatively early. I hope not. Fran says team orders for Lando to pass Piastri. I don't think Lando... I mean, they did exactly the same lap last time. So I think Lando's just sort of... He's cruising it in now, I suspect. 2 laps to go. Yes, indeed. 2 laparinos to go. And one of the most tricky Grand Prix we've had to follow, definitely, here in Qatar. Super Cooper saying Bottas is fine. Okay, good to hear. Right, what battles are going on right now? So we've got Lance Stroll in P9, Gasly and Perez. So Gasly's got past Perez again. So there's some points up for grabs there. Gasly's got back in the points. But Bottas, Ocon, Alonso, Leclerc, Russell, Norris, Piastri, Verstappen, nothing really to pay for there. So can Guan Yu Zhou do a mad one? Oh, Pierre Gasly went round the outside of Sergio Perez at turn 1. That's how we got that done. Fair move there from Pierre Gasly, who has taken a... I mean, all these drivers, by the way, this is my point. Lance Stroll, who has a 5-second penalty, actually, doesn't he? So he's going to drop back. Perez and Gasly, they've all taken 5-second penalties already in this race. So if they just kept it clean, they could be looking at a P8 or something like that. So, but I think Valtteri Bottas, fair play on that strap. Welcome Aquinas, Anonymous, Jorge Silva, Irvan and Sasha. Yeah, I'll be interested to see the interviews with Hamilton on that. And when he looks it back, I think he'll just be like, I didn't give enough space. A bit similar to the Piastri incident in Monza. Berta says a well-fought double podium for McLaren there. Yeah, McLaren are really well and truly back, I have to say. If they can build on this for the car next year, I mean, they could start to give Verstappen more problems. Yes, Verstappen might be really easing off here, but it's only a 5.3 second gap. And you've got 2 McLarens behind. I wonder if this will influence Red Bull's decision on whether to swap out Perez for someone a bit more feisty. That might harm the team dynamic, aka all focused on Max in Red Bull, but it might act as a buffer zone that Max Verstappen might need. That's my thought. Yeah, I mean, a pretty appalling race from Perez there, really, isn't it? I mean, and the sprint race was terrible as well, so... Black and white flag for George Russell. That might be his first warning for track limits. Welcome to Shark as well. Late to the race, but you're still here. You made it. Final lap, everyone. Don't these races go quickly? Don't these races go really, really, really quickly? 124.3 as well. Great spot by JT there at the Mercedes strategy center. Look at that lap time from Max Verstappen. Wow. He had it in the bag all the time. He had it in the bag all the time, everyone. A 124.3 is miles quicker than the Alonso. It's a second quicker than last laps from Piastri and Norris behind. And now he just cruises off again. So he charged his ERS up and went for a mad lap. And there we go, everyone. That is actually the end of the race. So Max Verstappen is your winner. The world champion. Your winner here in Qatar. And the man who finished second yesterday in the sprint. But he got 7 points for the sprint. And he's going to get 26 points here. It's one of the biggest point stalls we've ever seen in a day in Formula 1, surely. Are there going to be any fireworks out as he overtakes, I think, an AlphaTauri in the last couple of corners? I'm just going to say it how I see it. Goes around the final right-hander. Any big fireworks for Verstappen now that they don't need the track again? No, Qatar, what are you doing? Get that budget out for the fireworks, please. It's a bare minimum we expect if you're going to have a race here. Get those fireworks, please. Everyone's saying we should have won. Look, we all won. We all won. Interesting race. How do I summarise it? Well, on the one hand, you can see all the pit stops there. On the one hand, utter domination from Verstappen. I think we were, in a way, it would have been interesting if Hamilton and Sainz had been in there. It would have added a lot more to the dynamic in the podium fight, I believe. Fernando Alonso's big mistake. Now, MBR was here earlier. MBR was in earlier. Just popped in. Thanks, Lauren. But also a very, very, very strung out race. Verstappen lapping up to P14 and P7 Esteban Ocon a whole minute behind. Not just Verstappen, but pretty much the McLarens as well. So another dominant race from Max here. And now with the Drivers' Championship sewn up, I wonder if it's going to be even more relaxed and therefore even more dominant. Could be the case. Thank you, Craig. Yeah, Hamilton though, I think that might... I don't know. That's two areas in this season. And given that Max and Hamilton came together a lot in 2021 and people were saying, oh, a lot of people were saying that's Max doing it. Well, I wonder if that will change the lens of history.
Bottas is
Yes, Guan Yu Zhou getting in the points. Why? Because Pierre Gasly and Lance Stroll, I believe, would have had penalties applied at the end. And let's not forget the reason why Oscar Piastri is well up there is because of his incredible start. Hamilton spinning the car around and everyone else paused, but Oscar Piastri was the right place at the right time and he's converted it. He is definitely the hottest man in Formula 1 right now, apart from Fernando Alonso, obviously. Nice one, Gary. Yeah, more entertainment there at Darroval. And it was George Russell on softs at the end, by the way. So we did go on softs. I'm just surprised it didn't go a little bit earlier. No worries, Shark. I'm really very tired. I actually don't feel very well, to be honest. So... But we are going to be back. Anyone know when the next race is? When's the next race? Anyone know? And Sergio Perez getting in the points as well. So good weekend there for Alfa Romeo, because they've been quite poor recently. No worries, Bet. Triat says Max may have gotten the world title, but Piastri is a real winner. Yeah, swapping ones and twos. No worries, Anchi. Great to have you all with us. Been a great stream. Had 50,000 people pass through the stream today, which is awesome. October 22nd. October 22nd? That's ages away, isn't it? Feels ages away. So maybe I will do some kart racing next weekend if I'm feeling better. Do some kart racing. And I want to do some more car racing. Again. Max Verstappen with the gold helmet now. I think now they can really celebrate the Drivers' World Championship. I'm sure there'll be a big party. Jos Verstappen's there as well. And there's the admin of the Red Bull and McLaren racing teams. People just spend all day sat on Twitter copying and pasting memes. What a job. Where is the proper video of the race? You're not entertained. Lorenzo feels like a fatigued end of a long season type of race. Yeah, it does. It does have that end of season race, doesn't it? And I wonder what the vibe will be. I mean, I'm very excited for some of the races coming up. We still got to go Circuit of the Americas. We still got to go to Interlagos. We still got to go to Vegas. We still got to go to obviously finish off in Abu Dhabi. So a lot of races to come. Right. Ooh. To be fair, I have been racing cars this week. It does take a lot out of you. And there was a near-death experience as well. But you'll have to see. In fact, let me show you. We've got 1,000 people watching. Let me show you what happens. Have a look at this, everyone. You're going to want to see my video. You're going to want to see the video. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be unmissable. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you subscribe for some near-death experience. Real-world racing. Now, chat, normally I hang around and look at the... I think I'm looking at the podium ceremony, but... no worries, Flatka. Thanks, Evie. Appreciate it. You guys and girls is absolutely amazing. And look, our big ambition is that we want to do this in real life. Like, I want to be at the track for this. And, you know... Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I am in talks with some right people for this sort of stuff, but if anyone watching has any connections as well, please, please, please do put them through. It's amazing we are completely unsponsored. We just roll with it as a stream. Well, we'll save it for the video, Gary. Chayotsuji, she's going to get herself under a blanket. Very nice. And if it's late where you are... Lando looks really happy, I have to say. Lando looks relieved. Maybe he's just happy that he's in a car. He's in a good car. I mean, yeah, he might have had the pace for P2, but in the scheme of things, difference in the P2 and the P3 isn't mad, to be honest. Different story if you're trying to get the victory. Galaxy Sergeant's son. Wow. We are all Sergeant's sons. Damien says, what lap ends? Right, everyone. So, do I have anything to premiere into? Do I have anything to premiere us into? I can't believe we're not going to be together on an F1 stream for another 2 weeks. I can't believe it, chat. How was that? How we ended up in this situation where come Dizzlecat and Mikwa? We're not going to be together for another 2 weeks, chat. I don't know how we've ended up here. I don't know how we've let that happen. Would you guys be interested in streaming the NASCAR, streaming IndyCar, streaming MotoGP? Gonna see you in Texas. Yeah. So it's Circuit Maker's next lap, next race. Joe, doesn't Max have to win race of the day? He doesn't have to. There's no rules on this sort of stuff. It's not like a mathematical equation. Lorenzo, Americans won't like the fact the season's over already before they even race there. We should get you racing early, like Miami. Evie can't wait until Las Vegas. Yeah. I think Las Vegas is... Well, actually, I don't know. I feel like... On Las Vegas... Obviously, I went there and I've done all the videos on the track, so you can see that on the channel. But I feel like with a championship on the line, Las Vegas has an extra aura. Without a championship on the line, at that stage of the season, the penultimate race, and given that it might be very difficult to overtake, apart from standard DRS ones on the straights, it might be looked at through a slightly different prism. Damien, there are 33 laps to go in the race. 33 laps. Do some FIA karting. I'm not good enough to do FIA karting. I do have an FIA license, so actually I guess I could. IndyCar? What's IndyCar? Max Verstappen looks very calm, collected. I can't believe that these guys do, you know, an hour and a half of racing this strenuous. I mean, the G-forces must be unbelievable. Yes, you're harnessed in, but the G-forces, and they come out just looking like so fresh. It's really quite extraordinary, to be honest. You look at the touring car drivers, because wasn't the finale of the BTCC today? You know, they come out looking like sweaty messes. No worries, Naya. No worries, Mark. Yeah, but I feel like we're approaching prime Max. 26 years old. How good is Max going to be when he's 29? Can you just imagine how good he's going to be when he's 29? 29, 30, 31, 32. These are sort of prime years. 33. Those are the primes. He's going to be so experienced. It's just a different level. Bert did karting once. I needed a week in bed to recover. Yeah, karting is quite strenuous. This time last week I was karting actually. What's my everyday car? My everyday car is in Gran Turismo actually. FIA license is it's not as fancy as it sounds. You need to get FIA licenses to do various things. So the karting I do in the UK, you need an FIA license accredited. So I have it somewhere. I don't know where it is. I probably should know, but it's just a little card. It says FIA on it, and then I have a KX1, which K is for karting. So many Aussies are going to NASCAR. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Just want to see the podium here. Just want to feel the vibes a little bit. They're going to go into the cool down room now. I'm not a fan of these LED backgrounds for the cars, actually. Oh, it's all kicked off in the chat there. It's all kicked off. A bit of a battle. Yeah, pretty astonishing car. One of the most dominant cars of all time. In the context of a season where the rest of the field is very competitive, so it shows just how good a job they've done. Is it through a practice run for the license? I think you need to be. You get approved by like your karting championship or whatever. There's no theory though. It's not like, oh, what do you do in a double yellow flag situation? That doesn't happen. Right, let's see what happens here on the podium though, and another double McLaren podium. Oscar Piastri finally up there. Well, he got the sprint win yesterday. Now P2. He's getting used to it. Are we going to see these two drivers? They drop all their stuff all over the floor. Are we going to see these two drivers build up a bit of a rivalry? I'm not sure. Oh, Oscar sitting on the floor. Oscar just sitting on the floor here. He doesn't want to sit in the high chair. Oh, Max sitting on the floor as well. So now you just got little Lando sitting in the high chair. Oscar and Max are just sitting cross-legged on the floor in the cool-down room. Get on the floor as well, Lando. Everyone just chilling on the floor. Quite an intense Grand Prix. Lots of pit stops, lots to think about. By the way, Lewis Hamilton had a big opportunity to make some inroads here into Sergio Perez to get a P2 in the Drivers' Championship, but completely failed to convert it. Oscar Piastri's just chilling on the floor. Abel doesn't have an FIA license, but I do have a tractor license, so I'm free from the Haas car. Very nice. Very good. What is going on in the Williams garage right now? They have to really deep clean that car. Goodness me. Maybe that's going to be the Oscar Piastri thing now. He just rolls around on the floor like prime Neymar. Right, I think the podium ceremony is actually almost ready to go as well, so they're going to have to call these drivers up from the cool down. Shane Van Gisbergen going to NASCAR. I'm sure he'll clean up there. That's a man who knows how to drive. So who have we got? We've got Kelly PK is here, and Helmut Marko is here as well. So none of that car will need to be scrapped. Williams can't afford it. They can't afford to scrap it. Okay, let's see what happens at the podium ceremony here. Again, it's another big LED behind it. And P3 is Lando Norris. Here comes Lando. He looks pretty relaxed and happy. I mean, he can't complain. He can't complain too much about getting a P3. Obviously, could have won in 2021 at Sochi, but didn't happen for him. Then Oscar Piastri in P2. He's managed to get himself off the floor. And finally, P1, as we've seen so many times this season. I think maybe, is it 12 already this season? Max Verstappen, who really has just gone to another level. We're witnessing real dominance here. In P1, looking a little bit sweaty. Yeah, will he do a shoey? So a familiar sight of the Dutch flag and Max Verstappen in P1. Who's going to be giving out the trophies? I hear you all cry in unison. Well, I will let you know who the Illuminaries are on this occasion. It's 14 this season. Wow. Deary me.
Oh, and Ferrari just gained a place.
Deary me, that is a lot. Dutch national anthem. I've never raced Max Verstappen, actually. I've never raced him online. I've raced Lando Norris. Okay, now the Austrian national anthem. We want to see what's going on with these trophies. The thing about Max is I think he could be equally quick in sports cars, endurance. But I think he's the quickest driver in the world. He's at the pinnacle. I think he'd dominate everything else as well. I think he would dominate. Now where's Davina James? Oh, Davina James was not feeling well. It's that Logan Sargent bug. The race was it was an interesting race, but I think we were robbed a little bit by not having Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz involved.
So what happened there?
Wow, the anthems are going on quite a bit, aren't they?
AlphaTauri gained a place.
Going on quite a bit. Right, here we go. Trophies time. Does it go to the constructors? No, it goes to P1 first, and it's presented by President of the Qatar Olympic Committee. Oh, goodness me. Don't tell me the Olympics are going to be in Qatar as well. Are the Olympics going to be in Qatar? Oh, they get a medal as well. Oh, FIA President Mohammed bin Suleiman has also decided to give out a medal. P2 is presented by the Group Chief Executive of EasyJet. Saying it's his third World Driver Championship with Max Verstappen. Second place is presented by a Minister of Sports and Youth. So if you like sports but you're not young, then this ain't your guy. But if you are young and you like sports. And last one, third place by Qatar Motor and Motorcycle Federation and Lusail International Circuit President has presented that one as well. Yeah, Hamilton crashed turn 1, lap 1. Very dramatic. And now it's time for not the champagne, but the rose water, as all of the Illuminaries are ushered off the stage. A little they wanted to stay. And it doesn't really come out of the bottle, I have to say. Here come the fireworks! So there was a dribble of rose water there. I don't think they like drinking it either. So what a waste of time that was. And then some fireworks on the far end of the circuit. Joyce, I was thinking today that Max win the Qatar Grand Prix. Yeah, I mean, rogue bet that one. But he did win it. And there we go, everyone. There we go. Right, so that's our leaderboard. There may be some track limit deletions and some penalties possibly, but it's been a very intense weekend, I think. It's felt like an intense weekend. Like these sprint weekends, they're still to be worked out. I like the idea of a sprint race, but I feel like they need to have a full day on Saturday and a full day on Sunday or something. Because it feels very, very, very intense. And it sort of dilutes a little bit of the moments. So we're going to be back then for October 22nd. In the meantime, loads of content coming up on the channel. Do go check it out. I don't have a premiere for us today. I'm sorry. I do not have a premiere for us. But if you make sure you check out the notifications, you'll have me driving real cars, karting, sim racing, loads of stuff, and maybe some F1 reactions as well. So please, if you do see those go up, please do leave a like, leave a comment as well. It massively helps me out. This has been a really good sort of interesting Grand Prix that we didn't know how it was going to work at the beginning. And I need to sort of reflect on how I feel about all these mandated pit stops. Does that actually make it more exciting or less exciting? I'm not sure. But it definitely made it very different, didn't it? Yeah, Hamilton was ahead, but anyway, we'll get onto that in Discord maybe. So we're going to be USA in a couple of weeks' time. So I'm sure all of the USA fans are really going to enjoy that. I'm going to end the stream here. I'm going to get something to eat, everyone. And yeah, it's been awesome. Almost 62k as well, which is absolutely massive. Hope you've enjoyed it. Qatar 2023 Grand Prix. Thank you everyone who's joined here. Good to see a lot of familiar faces. And we'll be back for Circuit of the Americas, which will be later in the day. So maybe we can even do free practice on the Friday as well. We might be able to do a triple stream weekend. We will see. But thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to end the stream here. Have a great Sunday evening if that's where you are in the world, and a great start to your week. And yeah, I will see you hopefully